Welcome to the RWBY Podcast, Volume 4, Episode 12. There's no safe haven. I am your Emperor, Mediocrity 4.
It's me, the esteemed moderator of this glorious podcast, high-powered, powered by Lone Star, not a paid sponsor of this podcast.
But hey, I'm always up for free money.
Me too.
Unless you're talking about Lone Star from Spaceballs.
No, it's a beer.
Okay, my bad.
I'm Ballzy247, and I lost the $5 bet from the previous podcast.
And squealing like a fangirl over all the amazing episode, it's Dudewuttheheck.
Wacky waving inflatable arm tube grim. Wacky waving inflatable arm tube grim. Sorry, all joking aside though, much like said Nucleopy, my emotions flock around like a wet sock. And usually wet socks are just the worst. But the gushy Renora feels made it okay. Oh, right, my intro. It's Socklucard.
You two outdo yourself every fucking time, dude. One day you're not going to be able to anymore.
He's just gonna implode, his body's not able to do it anymore.
Watch, I will find a way. Sockluminati.
Alright.
Not just Sockluminati.
Okay, so
Osluminati.
we're gonna do things just a little bit different than this podcast.
Yeah, hope you guys are ready for an even longer than average one.
So we're going to keep the theorizing and Volume 5 predictions for another podcast. We will have light theorizing, but I will put the hammer down on if it gets too long. So basically, the whole goal of the podcast is we will talk about this episode, we will talk about Volume 4 as a whole, and then we'll talk about how Volume 4 has improved the previous volumes of RWBY. So that's the plan. So let's get started. So, I mean, basically the fight happens, and
It didn't disappoint.
it did not. It was probably one of the best monster fights that we've had this entire volume.
This series, I think.
This
series.
I would put it up there. It's easily one of the best fights they've ever done.
It's interchangeable with like what I consider the best one, which was the the Volume 1 Juniper and Team RWBY fight against the those two Grims.
Yeah, the Players in Pieces fight.
The Players in Pieces
Yes.
fight, yeah.
So the fight happens. What I really liked about this whole fight was we get a lot of variety from the Grim too also. So like the Grims, charging at Crow, and then we get a serious confirmation on Ren's semblance, which is basically Grim stealth. Which is actually, it's a cool semblance. I don't know how well it fits his character though, but that's neither here nor there.
Stuff. I think it actually is like more of like an emotional masking person.
Yeah.
It's not masking, and that was the wrong term I'm thinking of. But it's like, I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's the word because as the picture we shared earlier that was shared earlier in the Discord is like back in Volume 3 when Nora, I was actually saying over Nora.
Calming.
Wow, there was just one person.
Yeah, like calming. Would that be?
Somebody said in a comment on one of my on my review of that episode that that they thought it was like the calm spell from, I think they said Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, like Skyrim or something like that.
But yeah.
I think it was actually World of Warcraft.
But yeah, so the fight happens, and it's basically broken up into about 4 to 5 parts for the whole fight. Yeah. And so the first part is let's run circles around it and shoot it, which seems to work reasonably well.
It's like a Dark Souls boss.
It really is. You run it around and you stab it in its butthole, and then you just rinse and repeat until it dies.
Yeah, unless you get kicked in the face or it learns.
That too.
Glad the Grim actually did.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's terrifying. And it learned to really go down quickly, too.
It also learned to use Nora's upskirt to distract Ren. That was also, I learned that too.
It's very effective. I mean, I was
super effective. Yeah.
The Grim's a connoisseur himself.
Yeah.
Look on Nora's face, but
turns out he's not just the original Ren sexual. He's also into Nora as well.
Oh,
Well, and so we get that fight going, and as this fight's going, Ren is just getting more and more and more unhinged throughout the fight. And then that basically leads into the other part where we start getting the Grim gets some good hits on the teammates. Oh man, I'm almost losing track here.
it's like RWBY's flying around.
Yeah, it's the first Grim that I can think of. I don't correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the first Grim to knock away, get rid of people's aura.
Yes.
For the first time. That's the
Not
first time
just
we've
one
actually-
person.
Not just one, two.
And
Granted,
two, Ren
granted.
and Nora.
Granted, this is only the third Grim fight since that was a thing, so...
True.
That's true, but I'm just saying it's still they use that as like sort of like to establish how powerful it is, and yeah, and Ren's still too unhinged at that point, even after he and Nora have lost their aura. So he's still trying to chase after it. Nora sees this, tackles him to save him, and then we get the most adorable fucking scene in underneath the house that she tackles him underneath.
And that seems a complete role reversal of the last time they shared a house.
We'll talk about how they've learned how to do callbacks this volume, and then they kind of overdid it with how many callbacks they've done, but I'm glad they learned how to fucking do it finally.
Right.
Yeah. So
We like this thing. We're going to keep on doing it. Oh, this is fun.
I got a question, though. Is that the same building they were in under when they were kids?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the point, though.
No, that was...
Either way, it's fucking adorable. Trust me, my soapbox or whatever you want to call it is set to talk about this scene and Nora. Trust me, I don't need to go on anymore. Basically, she literally slaps some sense into him, and they collect themselves, and they come up with actually they come up with a plan to defeat the Grim, and I like the plan. It makes sense because they learn as well over time that they learn that the Grim really relies on its arms, and they pin the arms
immobilize
down,
the arms.
Immobilize it, and it gives Nora a chance to smash the horse.
And
she kills the horse head, and then Ren can have his little fancy ass monologue and finally kill the Grim.
Yeah, and we get a lot of callbacks in that too. Also, we get like whenever Nora's like falling off the side of the building, it's almost like the same thing she did in the Players and the Pieces fight.
Yeah, with the Death Stalker.
Yes.
And then we get to see cool things like, freaking Ren literally just like bounces off the wall with John's shield to like deflect the thing as like John goes to impale it.
Very cool, yeah.
RWBY impales the other arm, and so
Using her war scythe form.
yes.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And so we see a lot of neat stuff and a lot of very good team attacks and combinations, which was something that I wish we had more of in this volume. And I hope they keep up with this.
Yes, I agree. But at least we got it when it really counted.
Yes.
Thank God.
We were just missing team attack names.
Yes, and the other thing is there's a lot fewer fights this volume than in previous volumes.
That is true. Yeah.
Because it wasn't so much focused on the fighting.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, we can talk about that during our
There's
analysis.
there's only 5.
Yeah.
Unless you count the rooftop fight, which makes 6.
Which no, we do.
No, there's only 4 fights. 5
No.
if you include the rooftop fight.
No.
Yeah,
no,
well, and that is splitting the
62
Tyrion
include
fight
the
into two.
flashback.
That's splitting the Tyrion fight into 2 separate fights.
The Tyrion fight's 2 separate fights. It's
I'm counting the
Ranger
Tyrion
beats out,
side
and then the Crow.
Yeah.
And
Okay, well, I
RWBY
counted that as
debacle.
one separate fight.
So basically, the Deus Ex
There's a
Machina
flashback
here
fight.
is actually something that I don't have that much of a problem with. It actually
Me
kind
neither.
of makes sense.
They
saw
at
the
least-
smoke from the Grim. That's actually a reasonable explanation.
Well,
in my
not
opinion.
only that,
Dude, I'm
they-
gonna have to stop you here. Team Ranger was literally saved by the Forest Service. That's who they were saved by.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just think about that for a second. They were saved by the Forest Service.
Yep. And they actually took a minute to like give a reason, like, oh hey, we saw the smoke. Nobody's been around here for years.
It makes sense. Like, I actually believe that, and none of us really guessed that this would be what happened. But you know what? Now that after seeing it, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I had a problem with it at first. I'm like, who the fuck are you? What the hell? What is this?
Yeah.
And he's like,
So-
you're like, oh, you're on Mistral's freaking front door.
Well,
No
no,
wonder.
one thing, they actually set it up in World of Remnant.
They did, actually.
The Mistral one. They talked about the air travel.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
That is a fact. That is actually true. Yeah. So anyway, so they get to Mistral, and Mistral looks fucking gorgeous. Let's
It
admit
looks
that.
exactly
Yes.
how I thought it would.
Yes, it does.
It looks like one of the air
Media can
temples
say he
from
called it.
Avatar.
You know what was
Yeah.
even more beautiful? Ruby's smile when she saw Mistral. Oh, god damn.
Yeah, that was good. And even more beautiful than that was Renora in the airship, just saying.
Well, I would knew that for you. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I have some analysis of that as well. So we get, Ruby's obviously have, Crow, we know Crow's safe. We get some Renora action again. And then we get Ruby going into the room with Crow. God, I love that song. The music out there, I really fucking love.
It was on point.
And the music so on point. Jeff Williams, I worship you. Jesus Christ, you're amazing. And we get definitely the most controversial part of this episode, which is the Ruby letter / speech sort of thing, which on first listen, when we got into chat after
Goes on for
watching
almost
this,
6
we
minutes.
we were all like, Jesus Christ, that went on too long. What the fuck? This sucks.
How long would it take you to write a letter of that length?
Yeah, and on second and third watches, it improves massively, I think. But I think we're still all under the impression that it could have been trimmed. That said, there was a lot there that's really it's a lot of information that we already know, but it's really important to hear Ruby say it. And I think we can get into that. That's definitely stuff that we're going to be able to get into more in the future. It's set alongside some clips of the other members of Team RWBY, basically going forward with their plans to get toward where they're going. Blake's as interesting because it just has her replace kind of a symbol of replacing the new, angrier, more violent white fang flag with the old, more peaceful one in her effort to take over the white fang. Which
I really like that. I really like that. Dusting off the old flag.
I like that a lot as well. And then we get Weiss smuggling herself over to Mistral. We get Yang driving to Mistral as well, which, yes, there are definitely some issues with that. We're going to talk about that as well. Let's not. Her outfit is fucking badass as hell, though.
Yeah, it's like the best.
Well,
best
we already
outfit.
knew what her outfit was gonna be. It was.
Well, we got a better detailed shots of it, and we didn't see the sunglasses before, and the sunglasses are on point.
The sunglasses are implied.
Yeah, that's true, but they're on point. All right, let's just be there. I love the sunglasses. And we get that. So yeah, so it's interspersed with that, and it basically ends with Ruby being overly optimistic again, and cuts to Watts with Professor Leo Lionheart from the headmaster of Haven Academy, which I have some theories on that, and I'm sure we all do. So that's the more ominous tone. And then it cuts to the ending credits with another fucking amazing song.
You forgot one part.
What did I
Jumping
forget?
over the Legion of Evil and Emerald.
Oh,
Cinder.
yes, that's right. Cinder, that's right.
I thought that scene was hilarious. It's like
Yes.
spawn in Ruby so I could roast her.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, Cinder.
It is.
And the remainder of Juniper scene where we have Ren and Nora joining Jean, who's still staring at his shield, mourning the loss of Pyrrha, which I don't believe.
Still trying to figure out who done the edit for it.
And
but
they
someone done the edit.
comfort him, which is adorable. And of course, somebody has already edited in the shot of Pyrrha leaning on Jean from Volume 3, so it's all four of them together, and the feels are very, very real with that.
Yeah,
picture as well, so.
Miles Luna is trying to track that person down.
Yeah, it's very good. That's a really nice scene.
Just a random 4chaner that was bored and just posted it on like Co and just called it a day.
Even just the three of them, it was really adorable to see Ren and Nora, try to comfort Jean and everything. It was a really nice scene. And so, okay, now I've got what I missed. So then, it ends with, of course, they end on a little bit more ominous tone, and we go to the post-credit scene, we get Oscar going up to Crow in the bar, Crow saying, "Who the hell are you, Pipsqueak?" By the way, if you guys don't know,
to Full Metal.
Yeah, the Full Metal Alchemist reference is amazing. If you guys don't know, the guy who voices Oscar used to voice Alphonse Ulrich from the original Full Metal Alchemist, and Crow is voiced by Vic Mignogna, who voiced Edward Elric in both versions of Full Metal Alchemist. And if you don't know the Pipsqueak jokes, it's a role reversal. So that was fucking hilarious. I love that. And we get Crow giving his cane to Oscar, who is,
which
basically
he
Oscar.
apparently had the whole time.
Yes, I know, but we can talk about the negative stuff when we analyze. So
It was collapsible.
Well, it was collapsible. It was literally one of the toy lightsabers you get like at Walmart. But it was
So I think in the very first podcast I made a joke about Crow keeping it up his butt. Now that we know that it's collapsible and what part of it collapses, that is actually a lot more of a possibility.
Hey man, the prison purse is not a fun way of storing stuff, but it is an effective way of storing.
it is an effective way of storing stuff.
He literally pulled it out of his ass.
Oh, man.
All right, so let's go over the episode then, right? And then we can go into volume 4, right?
So here's my big complaint with this whole. It's not even a complaint, really. It's just frustration. I was hoping we were going to get John Semblance this volume.
Yes,
We obviously
here for that.
We obviously didn't get John Semblance. We also got something that I wanted in this volume, which was like an upgraded or a different form of a weapon. But it wasn't exactly the character I'd want to see it on. Now, not saying that it wasn't cool and it wasn't effective. I was kind of hoping like maybe like Ren could do something, or like one of the other characters would do it. But it was more likely to be one of the Team Ranger members, which was John.
They said it in episode 1 of this volume. I've added all the upgrades you have asked for.
And so, now here's my thing. This is now a rule in this Discord, and for these podcasts wherever we do them. John's semblance is that he has a shit ton of aura. That's his semblance, we're done. And even if we're teased about what his semblance could actually
until proven otherwise.
Like, until we get definitive proof, as in, like, what Ren did this episode, that's what his semblance will be. And that's where I'm standing.
He blast his aura through his broadsword.
So, yeah, that's basically all I have to say for John at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, the weapon was the secondary weapon was pretty cool. I mean, even RWBY didn't know about it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, RWBY's face when she saw that, like, what's going on?
Yeah, but as we said before in previous podcasts, if we didn't get it this episode, we're just not going to bother thinking about it for now.
We're done with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay,
matter
so
anymore.
did she not know, or was she like just really wanting to see it in action?
I don't think any of them knew. He's like just sheathed it, and I was like, "What are you doing, Sean? You're not this dense." And then it just, I'm like, okay, that works.
And RWBY's like, oh, and then now she's sitting there imagining like Crescent Rose and Sierra Moore like in bed together doing lewd things, and then they both come back to their room like, what are you two doing?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
that's
a visualization. Cool, I like the big broadsword because
I did too. It's just
they did do a good job of showing that it seemed to have a bit more of an impact on the Grimm. It's a weightier weapon if you want to just go more offensive. It makes sense, and it's nice to have him get something because his weapon is so dull. He really did need some sort of upgrade. I actually, before this season started, and I may have even mentioned this in one of the early podcasts that we did, that I really wanted John to upgrade his weapon in some way, and this was a pretty cool way of doing it. Ren needs it too now, by the way, because as this episode shows, he's done more with his dad's knife and his hands than he's ever done against Grimm with his actual weapons. Get this guy a fucking upgrade, okay?
Where was he? Where did that knife come from?
He had it in his shoe
on his boot,
yeah, on his boot sandal.
Because I'm just looking at
It's like Crow. It's like the cane. He pulled it out of his ass. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's another.
I just wish that that would have been a cool thing to hint at earlier in the volume, maybe. He's setting up campfire and he's just got that knife out of nowhere and he's whittling sticks or something, and then we never see it again. And then when the Kudo Yuri episode happens, oh, that's the knife. Oh, he's got the knife on him. Oh, and then when he pulls it out, they're like, I see what they did there.
Yeah, I think he's just holstered to his ankle.
Yeah,
that's on the interior of his boot.
Yeah, but that's a rule of threes.
Yeah, but I mean,
we don't have rules here.
The fight was incredibly satisfying. I was honestly a little bit worried about
I was
the
too.
fight. They've been inconsistent with the Grim fights, especially this volume. I know media didn't have a problem with the Geist fight. I personally did. The RWBY and Nora team attack thing was really cool, but I did have an issue with that fight overall. I didn't really like it that much. I really hated the Dragon Grim fight and really didn't think that was very good. And this one, it was amazing. It's easily one of the best fights they've ever done. The combination of... Okay, also, first of all, fuck everybody who said the Nuke Lave was not scary looking. Once it moves, the way they had it animated, its twitchy movement and everything, that thing's fucking scary, let's be honest. And the sonic scream thing it does.
It just creeps around.
Yeah, I don't care if it doesn't like the drawing of it is not as scary as some people wanted. The way it moves and what it did, that's scary. And that's, to me, that's more important.
And this isn't a horror show to begin with, too. Also.
Yeah, exactly. So the Grim was formidable. I loved the way it fought. The arm, the Luffy arms or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. That threw me for a loop.
That was really cool. It was scary. And the way the Team RWBY dealt with it was really interesting. I like how the fight did sort of go in phases. How they had Jean yell, go in circles, and that sort of worked for a little bit, but it didn't work forever. The rising tension of Ren getting way too mad over time.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why it didn't work is because Ren just got fueled by anger, and just kept on rushing it.
Yeah,
and it was made worse by the fact when Nora got knocked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Ren got even more triggered after seeing that. Yeah, that's the other thing that I want to bring up too, is that the fight has like peaks and valleys. It almost takes breaks at some parts too also.
Yeah.
Where like there's a good like 15-30 seconds of like no fighting.
It gives you time to breathe.
To break it up, yeah. It gets breathers. It's like, the part in
it's like all of Mad Max Fury Road.
I never watched the movie, so I wouldn't have gotten that.
I haven't either, but I want to.
But then again, Ballzy lives Mad Max every day, so...
Down in Menagerie, yep, that's what he does.
But yeah, so there's times for the fight to, they had opportunities for it to breathe. We saw, like, character interactions between John and RWBY. We had it between Ren and Nora with their cute stuff.
John
and
Crow.
Whatever. Yeah, John and Crow. Yeah, that look that they share was so weird, though.
Yeah, I'm still unaware what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's part of it. I don't really have a problem. I kind of liked it because it is sort of awkward in that
John doesn't like Crow.
Yeah, John doesn't like Crow, and I think Crow kind of knows that, but there's still like a meaningful look of, I know
you better save my niece.
Yeah, my interpretation of Crow saying, "Look, I know you hate me, but let's be honest, neither of us want RWBY to get hurt." So
yeah, keep everyone safe, because he knows that he's the leader of the group.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, exactly. That's true.
So
Sean definitely making a case for Team. Sean definitely made a case for Team Junior in this fight. That's for sure.
Yeah, and also John has been working on his sick gains because he basically parries the whole damn horse.
Yeah,
that was epic. That was awesome, and he used it he used the broadsword. That was so cool. I love that.
Part of me was sitting there, and I'm like, I want the button mashing prompt, and just like, I just go to town on it.
Tap A to
please,
save Nora.
This
Tap
horse
A to
is
save
heavy.
Nora.
Hurry up and stop making out.
So
on the
yeah,
house.
and Sean's always actually had pretty good physical strength. Like back in Volume 1 when he blocked the Ursa with the shield when it was attacking Cardin. So well,
we know that's supposed to be Jean's thing, is that he doesn't know how to fight, but he definitely has the natural.
He knows how to
ability
stop
when it
himself
comes
from
out.
getting killed.
He's what's the word for it?
He's like the Luke Skywalker, but less whiny, less of a whiny bitch.
He has all the genetic potential of a legendary marksman. He just needs training.
Oh, there you go. There you go. He's Link. That's a better example.
Oh, and for anyone listening to this podcast, before you even say it, because media mentioned the Ursa fight, even though Pyrrha's interfered with that with her polarity, John still needed the strength to block the hit. So
and also cut the Ursa's head off in a single swing.
Yeah, it's exactly
And I'm talking before that. I'm talking before Pyrrha even got there.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true too. Yeah, but also thank you for saving us from the haters suck. I appreciate that.
That episode's still garbage, though.
The Sean arc is still the worst part of the show. Okay, let's be honest.
Hey, I like that character.
I was binging the show last night. I was talking to Media. I was like, "Hey, Media, I made it through the Sean arc without stabbing my monitors." And he's like, "That's impressive. I can't believe you did that." So yeah, but anyways,
and so it rolls into the part under the house. And we get a complete role reversal.
Another callback, another kind of callback thing that they've been doing a lot this volume. But it's nice that they've learned how to do it, and they're overusing it a little bit. I want to say, but I still liked it. I liked it anyway.
Would you rather have that, or would you have like character reactions?
I felt, no, I mean, I like it. Obviously, I mean, come on, I'm a fucking Renora fangirl, and I fucking loved it. It was. We finally got the delivery that the animator had hinted at from Sam Ireland, and that did not disappoint. It was a little shorter than I was expecting, but it makes sense because if the speech went on too long, then everybody, of course, would be questioning what the hell were Jean and RWBY doing while they were under the...
Well, no, the thing is, we can hear, like, RWBY's gunfire and
No, I know, they did
stuff.
a good job with that. I'm just saying, like, but still, if they talked for too long, it would have been like, okay, what the hell? What's going on, really?
Which, that puts it above any of the fights from the first half of Volume 3, in terms of that.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And that scene was so fucking adorable. I don't know if I want to analyze it right now because I have my whole Renora speech to go through, and obviously this scene is a huge part of it. But the delivery from Sam Ireland was really, really good. And you can see the gravity of her feelings there. And she basically, she slapped. Just for now, let's just say that she slapped some sense into Ren, and he
finally starts viewing her as a little child.
Yes,
as the
that's
woman she is.
Really important. I love that. That visual cue was fucking brilliant because it's something that people have talked about so often about, how does Ren see Nora? And that's kind of confirmation to what a lot of people.
And the best way to put it is a panty shot. Or wait, or I might have been jumping ahead.
That was earlier.
Yeah, we did get a little upskirt joke with Nora telling Ren not to look up her skirt.
And then with the biggest shit-eating grin.
The biggest shit-eating grin of, yes, he saw what I wanted him to see, yes! Oh, that was fucking hilarious.
Her panties just say, "Love me, Ren," across them.
Yeah, love me, Ren, yeah.
Just a thought bubble above her head says, take that, martial arts.
There's a little like circle or an X over where her vagina is. It just says Ren's dick goes here. That's what you want him to see.
Oh.
Here, Ren, here.
No. It just says property of Ren.
Yeah, property of Ren. She's got the wedding underwear on already.
Oh my!
It says property of Ren already. But no, that visual cue of him seeing her as the little girl and blinking and seeing her crying as an adult was really. I love that RWBY as a show is learning how to do things like that because personally, they're learning how to do the callbacks. They're doing a lot of music cues that they didn't do as well previously.
I think they always had really good musical cues. They've always done that
decently. That's true. So they've done that. There's some in this that I noticed that I'll bring up later. But the callbacks are something that they've developed much better now that they weren't doing before.
Yes, like songs which had no use before, but now have perfect use now, like Boop.
Well, and I think
exactly. I think that visual cue is huge. They didn't do stuff like that.
There's that.
Well.
And we got 2 new songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that part of what made the music in this volume work a little bit more is that we didn't get a whole lot of new characters to have new themes, and so it was a lot more callbacks from previous volumes and previous themes, like bringing in Divide for Salem's theme, or Sacrifice for Cinder's theme, or doing Crow's theme again, or...
We have more official themes
in the Crow fight.
Yeah, there's a lot more themes to pick from. I wish we would have gotten that This'll Be the Day, but maybe Volume 5 or 6.
That would be for like a
we
team
now
review
have
callback.
essential confirmation of what Jean's theme is, and goddamn is it sad as fuck.
Cold.
Because cold is John's theme. God damn, that's sad as shit. Which is, I mean, it was great, but man, that's sad if you think about that. That's his theme.
No,
I could have smashed that pure pussy at any time, but I didn't.
Yeah,
we all know what his real theme is. Weishni, will you accompany me?
To the ball
dance on Sunday.
I think an internal organ just shut down. It's not from my heavy alcoholism either.
from that white knight nonsense.
The White Knight nonsense, which media will talk about soon, obviously.
Video, right? February 14th.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's a bit more.
And Weiss's theme is that song she was singing in her concert.
Her theme is still Mirror Mirror to me.
Yeah,
It'll never not be Mirror Mirror.
But yes, and so I don't want to dwell on the fight too long.
No,
I mean, there is cool stuff to fight. Yeah, it's a good fight, and there's not a whole lot to talk about. So let's kind of move into. They use a wicked team attack, and Ren gets his revenge by just taking apart the Grimm in both the literal and figurative sense of the word,
and having it yell into his face.
I love that. It was like yelling in his face, and he just fucking.
It's like a banshee.
Yeah, it just stood there and like did not even flinch.
It read angrily as it died.
Yeah,
it had two Nordic mythical monsters pretty much combined with it. Like, it had the Nukalave, and it had like the like a banshee style creature on top of it.
Yeah, it was.
They combined two like Nordic style kind of. I think it was a Norwegian.
I don't know. All I know is it's spine. It's like spines. It's like
Banshee. Banshee, I believe, is actually North American. If I'm remembering my monsters right.
Okay. Well, they've combined.
Well, there's actually different versions of banshees.
They've got like a banshee for the rider and the whole
need a skinwalker Grimm. That's all I'm saying.
Nukulive.
Oh, I mean, this Grimm opens up a lot.
And then quoting the RWBY panel, that means the show would be called The Walking Red.
Okay, so the fight ends, and then they get saved by the Forest Service, which one of the first World of Remnants that we got, like, actually brought up the whole like air travel thing, which I actually didn't for this volume, and I'm sitting there and it's like, yep. After like was whatever media made mention of it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. That's actually a World of Remnant that's like, it actually brought something important into the show. Which, I mean, it didn't even need to be there, but it was kind of nice. But yeah, still, saved by the Forest Service.
Yep. And,
I thought their outfits were pretty cool too, also.
I did too.
Yeah, at first I was like, what's this Plague Doctor outfit?
No, it felt like more like a steampunk, like, pilot outfit. But then again, I don't like steampunk, as then all the steam people are into steampunk, just like flame the comments. Whatever.
I'm into steampunk.
Hey,
you're Australian.
I hope we get enough views for a ton
more
of
like diesel punk
to flame our comments. That'd be great. I wouldn't even be upset.
And so,
and the scenes there were good too, because I liked I mean, Maya, in my opinion, is so much. The new system is so much better, and you get much more facial reactions and Ruby's looks that she gave when, like, the smile she gave when she knew Crow would be safe. Like, that was really good. It's nice to be able to see stuff like that.
Yeah, just imagine them. I mean, we've said this multiple times. Just imagine them trying to get these facial expressions off in the old animation system. It would be basically impossible.
Yeah, they're able to do so much more and they're able to show things instead of explain things now, which I think is without having to do everything with dialogue, which is definitely a benefit. So I really
more control.
Yeah, and that's really nice. I think that's really good.
And so we get the moment of, with Ruby and Crow, and then there's a little bit of a moment between Ruby and John whenever they're getting Casavacked out of there. And then we also get the big moment between Ren and Nora
Nora.
with the with
There is
the
no Ren. There is no Nora. There is only Renora.
we get the Renora. We get the uncensored, adult-rated hand-holding between the two of them. I honestly was waiting for a kiss. I'm like, oh, she's gonna do it.
Too.
She's gonna do
I
it.
was too.
She's gonna do it.
I honestly, that's my biggest complaint with this episode now is why they didn't just have her kiss him in that once he grabbed her hand. I do not understand why not. I have a theory on why, and it's a little convoluted. I will get to that.
He didn't take action.
Well, he did because he grabbed her hand. That's another callback.
But he didn't go in for it.
I mean, it's still confirmation. If anybody is telling us that Renora is not a romantic thing, fuck you. You're just an idiot because there's literally all evidence that that's not true. I have analysis of this on my Renora soapbox segment that will be coming up later in this podcast. So,
Prepare your butts.
We did get the cartoon tackle though earlier.
yes, we did.
that's-
I was expecting that to
We
be
did
the cutaway.
it with the cartoon like leg shoot up.
Yeah, the
whole
leg.
thing.
She like shakes her legs after he grabs.
I think that would have actually been a better time for the kiss.
Well,
Kind of
no,
just reactionary,
because no,
spontaneous,
it
like-
actually wouldn't be because I'm going to explain why that scene in the airship was so good. I'll explain that a little bit later. So I actually would disagree with that, but it was still cute. Like the tackle thing was cute, and he hugs her back, and it's still the important thing as of right now is that he's the one grabbing her hand. She was surprised by that, and so we get some a little. That's like
He's reciprocating her emotion.
He's reciprocating her emotion exactly.
It's
So
at that
not-
point we find out that Ren did not lose his weapons or ruin them in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. Which we thought he did, and it turns out he didn't because it looked like he lost them, and then he's got them back for some reason. So, anyway, then they get to Haven, and some really cool visual shots too, mixed in with that music. That initial scene where she walks into the room with Crow was really, I loved it. I loved the overhead shot they did. I thought that was really cool. And I love that song. I really hope there's I'm worried there isn't, but I really hope there's a full version of just that song of When I'm With, I Know That When I'm With You, I'm Home. I really can't wait.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
Because I love that melody. Oh, that song was so good in that moment too. I'm really excited for that. Jeff Williams continuously knocking it out of the fucking park, as always. That's the one thing that's always been amazing about RWBY is the music. It's never not been great.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my
There's
mind.
no doubt that the music's ever not been amazing. So that was good too. And then we get into the letter, which again I think most of us. Okay, let's do a roll call here. What was your guys' all initial reaction, and then upon watching this scene over multiple watches, what was your reaction to it? So Ballzy.
Yeah, I felt a little bit too long on the first viewing, but now because in the second viewing I knew what was coming along, I could actually just analyze it like that and not just have to react to it. It didn't actually feel too long.
Yeah, my initial reaction was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
No, that was about it.
Okay, so my initial reaction was definitely that went on way too long, especially after how amazing everything about the previous scene was with the Grim fight and everything. It was so good, and I was a little disappointed about it afterwards. I felt like it went on way too long, and I felt like all the information that RWBY was saying was stuff that we as the audience already knew, and I'm just like, ugh. I think I've watched this episode now 4 or 5 times. And I showed my fiance it too, and she basically, her initial reaction was the exact same thing as my initial reaction was. And this is just for perspective of somebody who watches the show, but will watch each episode once and is not nearly as into it as we are. She's a casual viewer. She's like, that Grim fight was fucking
Filthy
amazing.
fucking casuals.
Hey, shut up. I'm marrying her, so you can't be that mean, damn it.
It's not my problem. That's yours.
That's true.
He's
Fair
got a
enough.
point.
Hey, at least she watches it for fuck's sake, all right? I was impressed that she even has watched every single episode up to now. I'll give her that credit.
Power.
So she, because remember, we've been dating since before I was a nerd. So anyway, so she watched the same thing. Initially, the Grim fight was amazing. Love the Grim. The monologue went on too long. So upon, third, fourth, fifth viewings, the second, third, fourth, fifth viewings of it, I have a much more positive overall view of this entire episode and of the monologue. I'll agree it's still a little too long. They still could have cut it. not only could she have maybe said what she said a little bit faster, maybe cut out a couple of the lines, but they could have had less gaps in between, and they didn't need all of the visual that they did with the other teammates. Some of them were important, some of them mattered, but they didn't need all of them. The second shot with Weiss in the cargo hold, we didn't need that. We really didn't. We didn't need as much Yang as we got. We didn't. You know what I mean? It did go on a little too long.
Whoa. As much Yang as we got? We haven't had Yang.
No, I'm just saying, though, but for that scene, we didn't need every single shot of her that we got. They could have cut some of it down, is what I'm saying. The part with her getting to the fork in the road, we
definitely should not. Actually, I'd say that was the one part we shouldn't have gotten.
Really? Interesting. Okay, well, we can talk about that later. But the point of that, the reason why I'm much more positive on it now is RWBY saying what she said really matters. It's a huge sign of development for RWBY as a character. Yes, we as the audience know everything that she said, basically, but we didn't know that RWBY knows all that, essentially. Because RWBY, throughout this series, has developed the least out of all the main characters, out of all the main 7. And yes, the remainder of Team Juniper and RWBY, I call them the main 7 at this point, especially with all the Renora and Jean stuff that we've been getting. That is, there's that. Honestly, I believe that's true. So we have a main 7 now, and RWBY has developed
magnificent 7.
A magnificent 7, indeed. And RWBY has now that she showed a lot of signs of maturing. Obviously, she was still naive at the end, but I mean that's more of a cue of the season is the coming volume as a whole. But she's learning. She's learning about consequence. She's maturing. She's realizing how reckless she is to a degree. And she's growing up, and that's a big sign because really, out of all the stuff that's always happened, even after Volume 3, we didn't really see her actually growing up. It was the same thing. She's always been the same. It was like, oh, something bad happens, I'm gonna go do something about it. I'm gonna go try to save the world. That wasn't a sign of her growing up. She didn't actually grow up between Volume 3 and 4, honestly, in my opinion. We didn't get any signs of that. But from the beginning of Volume 4
always in a safe space
to the end of Volume 4. That speech showed that she's actually developing as a character. And that, to me, is a really big deal for her and the show. So I have a much more positive view after watching it.
Well said, dude.
Yeah. Good job. Whenever I watched it the first time, I'm sitting there and I'm checking the runtime. And that's a good indication of my level of boredom.
Yeah. That's like the first thing you typed to me on Discord, too, is like, that went on really long.
Yeah, and so the second and third viewings got quite a bit better. Whenever I first saw that scene, though, I was kind of wishing that, like, maybe we got, like, a hint or a tease of what Crow, like, told RWBY and Team Ranger. Oh, also, too, whenever she says that the mail isn't as effective, I'm sitting there and I'm like, huh, that might have been how Tyrion found them so quickly. He just stole RWBY's mail.
Yeah, she's apparently been sending.
That's a federal offense.
Do you think Tyrion cares?
Yeah, I don't think that.
I'll show you. Steals RWBY's W2.
It is that time of the year, actually. Well, that's a really
It is.
God,
it is. My mom just got her taxes back.
Wow.
And so
high bow to you, high powered. That's such on so many levels that worked.
But yeah, so and so a part of me wanted more of maybe something else, like maybe a little teaser of what Crow told them, or maybe a little bit more of the villains, and then we get all those cutaway shots of like Weiss, having to smuggle herself out of Atlas, which I thought that shot was fine and all. It was kind of it wasn't super necessary. Because, like, anyone would just assume, like, oh, she probably just, like, took whatever money she could get her hands on and ran, and then just bought her way to Mistral. And then the Blake part, I actually really enjoyed the Blake part. There was, like, zero dialogue whatsoever. Son's in the corner looking smug as all can get out.
But they're all in the father's office.
Yeah. And then Gira's like, I'm not going to be able to get the smell of cat and heat out of that office.
Yes, I was gonna go there, but you went there for me.
So is Batman Falling's description of
both.
Both. Okay. All right.
And I like how she's like, "Oh, look at this shitty flag," as she holds up the White Fang flag, and then she grabs the old school White Fang flag, and she's like, "Yeah, this is a good flag." And
I
so,
like that. I thought that
And
was
Son
really
nods in
that was really good. I
and
enjoyed that a lot.
this further concretes my thought process that Blake is probably going to have one of the, like, out of all the 4 girls, which I think she's going to be the last one to be reunited with the team. Okay, I interchange it between Yang and Blake as who's going to be the last one to run into the team.
First to leave, last to join.
Blake will be the last one to. Yeah, I agree. She'll be the last one to join up.
Yeah, for me it's interchangeable, but it's heavily leaning towards Blake between Blake and Yang. It just further cements my thought process that Blake's part in this series, which in several social media sites that I post on, people have shit on me multiple times saying that Blake's part is like very minimal. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Whatever Blake, been a main character. She was like the main character of like the early volumes almost.
Yeah,
she's the only one outside of Team. Her and Son are the only ones outside of Team Ranger to have an action scene this volume.
This is true.
Besides Yang's.
That was just training. That was just training.
Yeah. It was training.
It was a cool fight. It was a cool training fight, though.
Yes, it was absolutely.
That makes it more than 6 fights.
And then we get Yang at the end. And
7
Yang
fights if you include this flashback fight, which wasn't really.
Oh! Guess what? We got to see again this with Yang.
Bumblebee.
We got to see. No,
It's
well, that's an important one too.
aviators.
Also, we got to see the cute brown short-haired girl. That's the.
Oh yeah, the boat captain. Okay,
I'm joking to Pete.
Oh my.
I should have guessed that's what High Power was excited about.
And so we see a picture. We basically see that Yang now has the same picture that Crow has. And I'm kind of curious why they decided to cover up on the ticket of like the name of the boat. I'm curious if there's any importance to it. It's probably not. They're just like, oh, we're gonna do this so people can guess at it.
They probably just did not come up with the name for it.
I thought it was called the Nautilus.
The Nautilus is a submarine, though.
Yeah. Well, what does it mean? It has to have the same name in Remnant.
But yes, and so we see that. And I mean, I enjoyed all that part, and then like as on the second and third viewings, it made more sense. For me, what really came across with Ruby's monologue is that like Ruby just needs a break because she's been under a lot of stress, and she was probably like, okay, if they weren't rescued by the Forest Service, Ruby would probably be at a breaking point of like how much she's been like stressed she's been put under. Also, too, with the music and how that scene shot, it's very similar to the ending of Volume 3 of Ruby in the Room.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of gets the point across is that Crow is as much of a father to Ruby is as Ty is.
Yeah, he's not just an uncle. Like, uncle is like, that doesn't give enough credit to.
And not like two fathers as in like, they found a chick to like,
Yeah. Like,
we don't need to go that far.
Father figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically my piece on it. First viewing it was meh, and then second and third viewing it grew on me.
Random thought just comes to mind. Well, this is a little bit off topic, as I might.
Save it for later. But let me do his piece.
What about you, Media?
So I'm usually a fan of the big cheesy end of a season or end of a movie speech for about 2 minutes, maybe even 3, 4 if you're a really good writer. But when you're going on 6 minutes, I think it was about like around the time it showed Cinder that I just tuned out. And then when it got to Yang at that crossroad, which I call dibs on ranting about that in this podcast.
Yes, you do. That's your rant. That is definitely your rant.
So,
by the way, though, she did go to Mistral. Yeah. We can all agree on that.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I'm going to rant about.
I know it's not. Yeah. I know it's not. I just wanted to point that out for everybody.
And I heard Ruby still talking. I was like, oh my god, she's still fucking talking. I timed it like it. That scene goes for damn near 6 minutes. I don't like. There were parts of it, like even like this, especially the second time, that really brought a smile to my face, and like really, I thought were touching moments. But there's no excuse. There's no reason for it to be 6 minutes long. That's longer than most of my reviews.
That's true.
The last review was about just over 6 minutes.
Mediocrity for the master of the 4-minute review.
Yes.
Except I don't think I've ever gotten any of them under 4 minutes, except for my movie reviews. But I'm still trying to figure out the timing on those.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the individual scenes, it was nice seeing everybody again one last time for the finale, because it is the finale. We will not be getting another canon RWBY episode until like October.
9 months. About 9.
Yeah, about 8 months actually. And then, yeah, and I just a lot of it just didn't really seem to have a point. Like, okay, yeah, we get that Weiss is on the smuggling ship. The Blake scene, like, that didn't serve any purpose. All that was from last episode. Same thing. Well, Yang had probably the most to do, and we'll touch on that later. But yeah, first time I was like, oh my gosh, you still talking. Second time is when I timed it. I was like, that is too long, and I still think, yeah, that was way too long of a scene. Especially when she's like, oh, P.S. I'm like, oh my god, come on. And it still goes for 30 seconds after that. So, yeah, call me mixed to negative on that scene.
So now the villains are going to go take that letter and find out where they live because of the address.
Tyrion, the master mail thief. His arch nemesis is the postmaster.
You're the greatest strategist of our generation.
I literally just stole their mail.
Well, I mean, Tyrion has to find a second job. I mean, ever since Crow took out his stinger, he had to get a stamp. Just duct tape it to his tail.
Alright, Sock, it's your turn.
Y'all can call bullshit on me, but I actually didn't even notice the runtime on it. I was fully expecting something like that. I'm a big fan of it. I really enjoyed it the first time, and I just enjoy it more the more I watch that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just like the emotions.
Yeah,
the
like
way
I'm with you. Like I was expecting something like that. I just wasn't expecting it to go on for 6 minutes.
Yeah, y'all noticed the time. I like.
Well, no, I actually.
Like,
well,
where did it go?
I noticed it was long. And again, like I actually did time it. Like I didn't just notice the time. I actually went out of my way to time it. Because I was like, oh my god, how long is this scene? And I just did simple math from there.
Regardless, it's like I just didn't notice that the time had flown like that. Like I was just like, oh yes, this is nice.
I do like the themes of it because it is like, once again, this volume actually had themes that were throughout the entire volume instead of just like an episode or two.
Yeah, and we can talk about that during the volume wrap up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that later.
I mean, like, the only thing I could say is, like, maybe, like, the part with Weiss is, like, yes, we needed to know that she got onto a smuggling ship and that it just wasn't, like, blah, blah, made up in the background of how she got to Mistral. But but that scene only makes me try to figure out how the hell Leanne works. It's like, are they credit cards? Why do you need, like, 60 of them? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, and we didn't need the second shot of her. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that could have been trimmed to speed up the speech a little bit, because at least on second viewing and third viewing and all that, I like the content overall of the speech. It was very, like I said, very meaningful, very important for her to hear RWBY say all that, just like I said. But I do still agree that it didn't have to be that long. It could have been shorter. Even if the content was just as much word-wise, they could have sped it up a little bit, had her say things a little bit faster.
Well, dude, think about it this way. To be fair, RWBY hasn't done a lot of talking this entire volume. The attention and the lines have all been given to the other characters to make them more important, to build up their backgrounds and their stories and make us care about them. RWBY hasn't even said anything that's been on her mind. We've all been wondering since like episode 2. It's like, oh look, John's working through his problems. We see kind of how he's thinking and feeling about this and through this volume. RWBY, we haven't really gotten a lot of. Here we're finally getting a piece of that. We can complain about runtime, but we finally getting something from this.
And
I agree. Oh, because that's what, like I said. Oh, like you heard my rant on this.
Yeah.
Overall, I loved it, and it's really important that we're getting development from RWBY because it's been 3 3/4 volumes, and we didn't technically get any development from our main character until that speech. So that speech is goddamn important. And overall, I'll take it even if it's too long because that is that important to me.
Yeah, and
exactly.
I like the idea of the thing. Like again, like there are some parts that brought a smile to my face. Especially when she was like, I have seen what loss has done to people. And it goes back to what I've been saying for fucking years now about RWBY. I don't think RWBY needs to... I think she's a character that doesn't necessarily have to change. I think she is fine the way she is. And her whole she's like Captain America. Her whole characterization is... learning like just how terrible the world is and then still maintaining that optimistic point of view when everybody else is giving up hope or doubting themselves or becoming emo like Blake. She's the one who still smiles.
Yeah, she has to be a beacon of hope.
I see what you did
there. That wasn't actually a joke, but yeah.
Still, AO.
But yes, it's people like if she's being the hero, people look to that. You're like, okay, that's a symbol. That's something I can strive for. Because like what John was saying in the one of the previous episodes, in episode 10, actually, is like you gave us the strength to follow you. It's like it wasn't that she made them. Or that she was just like, hey, I asked you to come with me, and I know you guys have like a similar goal. They were feeling down too, but the way she was and the way she always will be gave them strength.
Yeah, the other thing too is like we get to see a peek of like her emotional state too, also because she plays those cards pretty close to her chest.
Yeah, you're talking about the part where she was like, the ones we've lost scratches that out. The ones we have not lost yet.
And so, yeah, that's showing like her optimism and stuff too also, but then it kind of doubles down on the point that I made, though, that like RWBY was basically at the end of her rope pretty much during, like, emotionally speaking, like if the Forest Service didn't come and save their ass, she would not have been a very happy camper.
Yeah, she was very worried at the end of the Grim fight because like, where's Crows? Like, is he safe?
But yeah, I think that basically boils down on that part.
Yeah.
I will say though, I saw one thing I forgot to mention was though the part with Cinder was. I thought that part was hilarious.
There's nothing there, Cinder. What are you doing?
And here's the thing though, is it gives us a little bit more like thought process. Like, oh, maybe she just Cinder just had a mental block about what RWBY did to her. That's basically why she was like that the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean...
And I said that in my review of the last episode that, like, in the last podcast about Cinder having hang-ups over RWBY, and this just, like, further cemented that. I loved it so much. Like,
yeah, I thought that was really cool. I did like that part a lot.
I still want to see what RWBY did to Cinder.
Oh, I know.
I hope we get that.
Everybody does.
I really want that flashback. I think it'd be really cool if we see it, like, maybe when RWBY fights Cinder again or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that would
be really cool. That'd be amazing.
I want that fight, so I want them to just go all out, no holds barred. Like, and Sock knows exactly what I'm talking about as far as just power scaling and stuff goes.
RWBY sees Cinder and just immediately goes Silver Eyes.
Oh, you talk about no.
I'm talking about like in my fanfiction their fight at Beacon.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically that wraps up that whole episode pretty much.
Except for the part with Watts.
Yeah, the Watts part.
Thing
I was glad that we saw him.
I'm glad we saw him too. Now I guess you could call this a slight crack theory, but I have a slight suspicion, just given what we saw in that scene, that Lionheart's already dead, because he doesn't move that entire time that Watts is talking to him, and he's doing that villain thing where villains talk to somebody that they've already killed. We know that's a thing. I'm not saying this is 100% true, but there's a chance that's actually true.
Or like it's the oh, I've already beaten you.
Yes.
So it's that smug thing. It's like, oh, this cool thing in your place. Oh no, I knocked it over. You ain't gonna do jack shit.
Yeah, exactly. He's acting like that, and the fact that Lionheart doesn't react in any way, he does not.
I'm not so sure if this is true. Then they did a really good job blending it, but that might have actually just been a 2D sprite painted onto the screen.
Yeah, that's possible too. Like I said, I did call it a slight crack theory, but I mean, I'm not.
We call that funny behavior.
I don't think it's quite inconceivable. Also, reference to.
I don't.
Thanks for the poison. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't want that to be the case, and I'll be going on massive tangents about this when we do our Volume 5 predictions. But I want like Professor Lionheart to be kind of an adversary for Team Ranger and Team RWBY, like getting in their way, trying to throw them off, and then forcing them to be more proactive to figure out what is actually going on.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that like
one of those towns from
pretty much the exact opposite of what Ozpin was
Avatar.
like in the first 2 volumes.
Sounds like the Avatar, that big
with the secret police
ending city.
Oh, Lao Feng or whatever. Ba Sing Se, Lao Feng.
Ba Sing Se, yeah.
What was the guy's name? Feng or
Fei, I think.
Google search.
Yep, that works.
Yeah, this is a tangent though.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Avatar. I can hardly remember anybody's
Also,
names.
Yeah,
the city of Mistral almost looked like Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, Long Feng. There we go. Long Feng.
Long Feng.
The guy. I was so close.
For me, I kind of want like Mistral to be in some sort of like weird police state where like it all looks like yeah, okay, we know there's like a criminal background, but there's a criminal underbelly because it's like a really shitty police state.
Also,
I had a theory
which is again Ba Sing Se, and if Mistral is Ba Sing Se, I'm totally fine with that because the Ba Sing Se season was the best season of animation in history, in my opinion.
Yes.
Season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender is arguably one of the greatest seasons of TV ever. It was so good. So if they go that route, I will not complain, and I will I could be happy to rip off all of that.
I had a theory, like just after the episode came out, like what if, because they're a police state or whatever, potentially there's an underbelly. What if they have their rooms bugged with like listening devices or recording devices?
As I said, police state. But whenever you guys mentioned the 2D sprite, I was out doing something and I wanted to chime in. This isn't the first time we've had a cardboard cutout in RWBY.
I know.
Tayang.
Yeah.
No, they used to do it all. They used to do it all the time. Back in the post-credit scene for Volume 1, Mercury and Emerald were 2D sprites.
Oh yeah, because they just kind of like slid in without actually like walking
into
up.
the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, and after you saying that, I hope I'm wrong about Lionheart. Then I definitely hope I'm wrong, but I still think there's technically kind of a chance of that, given how the way they did that scene.
I mean, it would certainly cement Watts as a really good villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better than Tyrion. #.
Yeah, no, that's true. He would be. I still like Tyrion, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Speaking of our villains,
and
we've got full names now.
Yeah. Yes, we got
that's
full
right.
names.
Yes.
Dr. Arthur Watts, Tyrion Kalos, Hazel Reynard, and Cinderfall and Salem.
Yeah, Salem is
still
still just
Salem still doesn't have a line.
So
Tyrion Kalos
she's a Japanese pop star. She goes by her mononym.
Well,
I mean, she doesn't look that different from fucking Born This Way chick.
Lady Gaga?
Yeah, Lady Gaga. She looks like a Lady Gaga outfit already.
Hey, you leave Salem alone.
Wrong pop star reference.
I see what you did there. Chris Brown could go eat a dick and die. But
That's also the wrong one. He said leave Britney alone. That's another. God damn it, we're fucking up all of our pop star references.
Top kick.
Seriously, top kick.
But no, I noticed that Kalos apparently means immature and inexperienced.
yeah. So he's like he has the mentality of a toddler.
Yeah, he's a zealot. I mean, that makes sense for him, to be honest. Yeah.
And rain art, pretty self-explanatory.
Rain art.
Yeah,
Or something, I don't know.
But and Arthur, I looked this. Oh, I gotta look it up again. But Arthur Watts is voiced by Chris Sabat. That's just awesome.
Like I just want if he ends up being like this kind of technomancer kind of person, I want him we got the Full Metal joke. I want him to my droids. You destroyed over 9,000 of them.
No. He needs to be like those really terrible hackers and he's like, oh,
no,
hacking everything.
No, you don't get Chris Sabat is Vegeta in Dragon Ball.
Okay,
that's the reference Socklucard was making. It's over 9,000.
Oh, see, I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was shit. And you have
the prime childhood.
I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. My childhood was fantastic. Thank you very much.
My childhood was awesome. I had both.
And Rugrats.
Although Dragon Ball,
amazing.
Pretty common opinion here. Dragon Ball Z is not as good as you remember it being, kids.
Yep.
Yeah, and I knew that when I first watched it that it wasn't actually that great. So you know what?
Well, I was like 5 when I started watching it, so.
I hated Dragon Ball Z so much that's the initial reason why I wouldn't watch Avatar, because I thought all anime was garbage because I hated Dragon Ball Z so much.
And you were so wrong.
I was wrong. I know. I'm watching Full Metal Alchemist right now, and it's amazing.
Well, isn't that just the freaking opposite end of the scale right there?
Oh yeah, and now we can go to the
post credits.
Yeah, post credits.
We actually already talked about that. We already did Pipsqueak reference.
Oh, that's right. We already made that joke. It's a good joke. Okay, I'm proud of them for doing that.
Good joke.
Yeah, and also as much as the over 9,000 thing would be just a really cheesy reference, Miles and Carrie are that low to make that.
Oh, they would. You know what? I wouldn't mind either, to be.
Okay, unpopular opinion here.
Well, how about they get Lenny Patur and to do it instead?
So, they did get Lenny Patur for a previous episode, so.
Yeah, I know, but what if they make that for the actors who play the characters in the bridge to make the actors who play the real characters?
That'd be hilarious.
Alright, okay. We're gonna get into the overall Volume 4 and what everything else has been improved by because of Volume 4. But I'm gonna state an unpopular opinion that Oscar will replace Pyrrha on Team Juniper. Because his last name is Penn.
I'd rather Penny.
I'd rather Penny as well, actually. Yeah. And
bring back robot waifu.
But I could see that happening.
Don't fist robot girls.
I love. See, the thing is, though,
I will fist them all I want. Wait, what?
I love RWBY with Team Juniper, man. Also, Penny makes more sense because of the letter, so I could.
But
not only that, but there's a lot of thematic ground that they could do when and if they bring Penny back, and not only that, but it would also be thematic as far as Penny was the thing that Pyrrha really regretted there at the end, and kind of taking her place, and Invincible Girl and all that.
Awkward.
Also, the fact that neither one of them have a free will of their own.
Ooh,
that's even harder. That's another. Well, it's the truth.
Yeah,
because Penny's just programmed and Pierre is just a doormat.
Also, we interrupt this program to tell you that holy shit, how the fuck did the Patriots win the Super Bowl? Tom Brady is the greatest football player of all time, and this is coming from a Jets fan who hates the Patriots. Tom Brady's the greatest football
I
player
posted
of all
that
time.
in general. I didn't
You
want to.
cannot-
I didn't want to
after that,
interrupt the podcast for that.
They
like-
were getting owned.
I
You cannot
do not
deny
get
his
what you-
greatness after that. Holy
Guys,
shit, Tom
we're
Brady.
kind of dating this podcast now. Great.
That's fine.
This will be up by tomorrow, so we're
Yeah,
only
oh,
dating
yeah,
it by like
so-
a day.
I just
True.
can't fucking believe that. That's ridiculous. He needs to retire.
Well,
after
you know what?
go out on that
That's
win.
fine. I'm Australian. We don't have the Super Bowl over here.
That's true. You have Australian rules football and rugby.
Aussie rules football is like gladiatorial combat.
It is
Yeah.
It's the Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's the Thunderdome. Yeah.
But yeah,
Two
so
men enter, one man leaves.
No, it's beyond Thunderdome, man.
All right. So you want to go? So do we want to go into?
Can I hold on, just real quick
Sure, yeah.
rant about Yang?
Oh yes. You
Yes.
absolutely should. You
yeah,
absolutely
we need to go
do
to
that.
town on the absurdity of what Yang did in the last like
All right, hold on a
minute
second.
in their minute of being on screen.
Hold on. Media, does this have to do anything with that signpost?
No, it's not
Yes
the
and
same.
no.
Because you
that's,
have
that's
to
not where-
remember,
that's-
this isn't Chronicle.
Well,
This
no,
is
no.
Chronicle.
It's
All right. So.
it has to do with
All right. Put down
time.
your soapbox. There you go.
it does have to do with time though.
Yeah, soapbox time.
How the fuck did Yang get there so fast?
She's on a motorbike.
So
The
okay,
wonders
so
of editing.
I'm not even like talking about that. So let me get this straight. She takes the bike from her house to the boat, then she takes the boat to Mistral, then she takes her bike the rest of the way, and she
I'd
gets
say
that.
she
And she
took the
gets that
bike
far
from
in a
Patch.
matter of days. When it took Team Ranger apparently like 6 to 8 months to get that far.
I think she'd take the boat from
The boat
Patch
would
to
go
mainland.
the boat would go
Vacuo.
the boat would go the same speed for both of them.
Can
because
you
it's a
listen
boat.
For a second. They're on Patch. She'd catch a boat from Patch to mainland, like Vale. She'd drive across Vale to like one corner or one edge to the other edge, and catch another boat from there to, and it's Anima, where Mistral's at.
Yeah.
Then she'd drive from where Mistral's at, and that'd maybe take a day or two to get there. There's literally, it will take you maybe 2 days to drive across Australia, which is 4,500 kilometers, or about the same time if you're doing that across America. About 2 days.
Yeah,
If you're
I
doing
know
it-
that. I've
If
driven.
you're doing
I've,
it legally.
I've driven from Missouri to Rhode Island, and it's like a 24-hour
And-
trip.
I'm going to guess that they don't really have strict speed limits on open roads, so Yang could have been booking it quite a lot.
She would have also had to stop for gas. Possibly.
But we don't.
It's still
They
not
don't. I don't think
booking
they
it.
run on gas. I don't
No,
think they
no,
run on gas.
they run on dust, but still.
Still, it's just, it'd maybe take a week tops to get from Patch to there. If she had a motorbike, yes, she has access to a motorbike.
But then why
So-
did,
days to
why
get
did
across
Ranger walk the entire way and not use something to get there faster in some
They
way?
were looking
That's-
for an airship at the beginning of the volume, but the airship they heard about was destroyed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the journey from where we saw it didn't actually take all that long. I don't have a problem with that part. The problem is before that. The time skip was supposed to be about 6 months. What were they doing for those 6 months? That's the issue.
Did they
Probably getting
did they,
money.
Well, no. Did they seriously? And this is the only way I could possibly rationalize it. They spent that entire time skip in that first village.
Yeah, or at least most of it.
No,
Yeah.
And here's
They would've
here's another
gone
thing.
to other
So
villages
in the
before
span of this volume, that boat went from Vale to Menagerie, back to Vale,
to Vale.
to Anima in a few weeks.
Yeah,
In the time it took for Team Ranger to get from Xi'an Village to Aniuri.
And I'd
That
like to
means-
add, media, that I'm of the mindset that Yang left to go find Ruby when like Crow was talking to Raven.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
don't-
mindset
I
I'm
don't
on
think so.
that.
I
These
don't
aren't
think
Because
so.
I feel like the cutaways, especially with Yang, are super out of sync with what's going on with Team Ranger.
Yeah, because they were
I
training.
want to say
Titan
he's behind.
Yada yada from like when we last like saw like an episode ago from that episode. We have to realize these aren't chronological. Like these two characters begin talking like why is this concert at the same time? It's like who knows? Like, we don't know the timing on all this.
You know, Weiss's concert's a few weeks after that first Weiss scene.
Well, and
As
we
really
and we
good
also
of-
no, but we also know that was a few weeks between Shion Village, which was the same exact episode that we first found out about the concert,
Yeah.
and Ani Yuri, which is where we had Tyrion, which was the same exact episode as the concert. So at least the Ranger and Weiss stuff is going on the same timetable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ranger and Weiss feel like it's on the same timetable. Blake and Yang might be on the same timetable. I would assume Blake and Yang are on their own separate timetables. That's the way I justify it in my mind. But yeah, keep on going, media. I'm gonna start stomping on people if they interrupt again.
I mean that's the main thing is we just don't know the timetable, and it's a plot hole, and it's one it's one that they can't really explain because it's just time.
Panel discussion from RTX yesterday, they literally said the answer to one of the questions like, no, I don't think we're ever going to really reveal the timeline for this volume. And it kind of
Because they
like,
were
affect
making it up as they
future
go.
things.
It's a tangle of yarn.
It would affect the future things for like callbacks or whatever, or for like what you call it, plot holes. If they reveal the timeline, it may.
Yeah.
What
Media's saying is it is a plot hole, but like
it'd cause more plot holes if they knew the
timeline. There's nothing
timeline.
that they can do about it, and the only way to like really fix it is to have Yang is to have Yang just show up at Mistral, not show the rest of her journey.
Yeah, that's
Which
true.
is probably what they'll do.
I hope
You
so.
saw Yang
Yeah.
take off from the beach. She wasn't going slow. She was booking it out of there.
But that's the only speed Yang knows how to drive with that motor.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah, so
Neptune
if she was
at
traveling
in
at that
Volume
speed,
2.
she'd get across.
And and another thing is, so RWBY was right basically that the journey should only take like 2, maybe 3 weeks. Remember when she said that, and
If-
Rin was
if
like,
you're traveling-
remember that.
and Rin
Yeah.
was like, "How long did you think this journey would take?" RWBY was
Well,
actually
for-
right.
yeah, it's just when you're walking, it takes a lot longer because yeah.
It will take you several months to walk from one side of Australia to the other, or same for America. One corner of Australia to the
Actually,
other.
yeah, and
Just walking.
somebody actually did a time thing on that, and I have no idea how they have no life for that, but they actually like somebody actually walked across America, and it took them like
Just under
about
7 months.
no, it took them way less than that. It was like a month.
Or they're walking like 100 kilometers a day or something.
Something like that, like just walking from sunrise to sunset.
Okay.
Stopping to eat, sleep, and yeah.
Poop.
That's some dedication right there.
Yep.
And not only that, but aren't these guys like kind of superheroes?
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of.
Why didn't they jog? If they were to jog, they could jog like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, but I think RWBY would be way ahead of them in that case. I don't know.
Well, only if she uses her sunlight, she can hold herself back.
This is RWBY.
Maybe it's just Jean that can't run like that.
Yeah, well, he's the only one wearing like actual armor, so
Ruby spin dashes the entire way there.
I could see that. I would love
Gets there in
that.
like an hour.
That one kid who bunny hops from class to class. But yeah, I mean it's a big nitpick and it's a big plot hole about talking about like the time span of that. So, but yeah, so let's kind of get this back under control. So, what did Volume 4 do to improve Volumes 1, 2, and 3?
Not the maps.
Not the maps. Yeah, the maps were also.
Yeah.
For me, the big one, the big obvious one for me was the interrogation scene between Blake and Ozpin was a good one. That scene got improved because of this volume, especially with episode 5 on Menagerie.
Yeah, so who are you, Blake?
Because he knows.
He knows. He knows all. Anything about John. And his transcripts.
What about you, Ballzy? What do you think?
What was improved by Volume 4 for the rest of the previous volumes? The actual Blake Belladonna story. Like, hey, we were meant to hate that character.
That was improved over time on this volume by itself.
We had to wait a long time for that payoff.
Especially episode 11. I mean, that was really the biggest redeeming part of episode 11, which really wasn't that great.
The thing happened where we predicted anyway, like, Sun would just be like, get it together, Blake.
Yeah, Sun slapped some sense into Blake, basically, after she slapped the shit out of him for no reason several times. So, thank you, Sun.
If he actually slapped her, there would be a riot.
Yep, exactly. But, thank you, Sun. We appreciate you. I may ship Bumblebee, but you know what? I'm okay with you. I like you.
And so does Carly.
Yeah, she does.
the look on the episode 11, like with the Carly's face, like hee.
He's awake, without a shirt.
Yeah, that's the face.
Yeah. Goodness. What did this volume... As far as improving on other volumes, I would say Weiss.
Yeah, Weiss benefited a lot from this volume.
Because Weiss's motivation didn't really make a lot of sense in previous volumes. And here, finding out that, like, that her father isn't a proper Schnee, added a lot of, like, oh, so that's what she was on about in Volume 1. Like,
and they still should have not revealed the end of World of Remnant. They revealed it in Volume 3 with Winter and Weiss's conversation. I still am mad about that. But
yeah, we did a whole podcast, Terry.
We did a whole podcast about that, and it was fun, but it's still angering.
And they revealed the Jock thing in the World of Remnant.
Yeah.
Just before the episode.
Yeah, right before the episode, where it would have been such an amazing reveal if they revealed it in the episode. But yeah, no, I think Weiss benefited a lot in particular from this volume because she finally started to act on all of that. And all these songs, and she got 2 songs in Volume 3 about how she doesn't like her dad and wants to rebel against him. And she finally fucking did. And I thought at least the scene in after the concert was really well done, and all of those scenes I really liked when she was, when she resolved to stop crying and just, do something about it. I like all of that. I thought was really good. Now the escape scene obviously went on too long, but overall Weiss as a character definitely is maturing and finally acting.
I mean, not only did that scene go on too long, but it was sort of it made the previous Weiss scene pointless. Why did she have to be able to summon to sneak out through the back door?
I know, yeah. She should have done what you said.
Again, like, she should have just fastball specialed her ass out of there. That would have been so fucking cool.
It would have been. It really would have been so much cooler if she did that. I completely agree.
The fastball special or the Nevermore. Either or I would have taken.
Both! Like, fastball special into a Nevermore. Like, I would be fully erect for something like that.
Yeah, it would have been.
I will say John got a lot of improvement from.
Oh, absolutely, John did as well, for sure. I like seeing the darker side of like John. I like the way he's dealing with Pyrrha. I like that he's becoming a better leader and a better fighter. I mean, they're definitely. John's like the secret main character still, and they're definitely doing a good job of it. And they made a little bit of jokes of it, at his expense in the first episode, and I think they realized that was stupid, and they made him a more serious character afterwards, which I'm happy about, that they stopped doing the silliness with him. They stopped making him like the butt of jokes and made him still not the best fighter, but he's a very competent fighter. He's getting better. He's not the best of them, but he's getting better and he's improving and he's developing. His emotions are changing and he's becoming more mature. And I think media mentioned this, like one of his reviews, how Jean is as sad as he is about Pyrrha, and we saw that at the end of this in this episode 12 as well, and in the I think it's episode 4 where he's training with Pyrrha's the message and all of that. But he's also mature in the sense that, you know, he realizes that, you know, Ren and Nora had it way worse than he did. Shit, Nora's got the most tragic backstory of any character in the show, and Ruby's lost more than he's lost, and, you know, everybody lost Pyrrha, not just him. So he's, and, you know, even with Crow, like he's upset. I like that Jean questioned Crow out of everybody too. I thought that was great. That was the only decent part of that episode, that scene, was that we get Jean calling Crow on his bullshit. He's also being, in that way, he's being smarter too. And I think, yeah, Jean's grown a lot this volume. That was
he definitely has.
Yeah, I know I'm not being very organized with it.
Blake, if I say Blake, it's because forget Ballzy posted that Blake picture. But yeah, John is probably one of the most like rounded and sensible characters around right now, which is very good because it's a good foil towards Ruby's unchecked and unbridled enthusiasm.
Yeah, but let's be real
which
here.
Is not bad.
Let's be real here. John's gonna get the butt of the joke, so quite a bit, regardless.
I mean, this volume opens up with John literally taking a nut shot.
Yeah.
Even worse than Scarlet's.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah. So I mean, that's
he did. I mean, there's. Here's the thing. I've been seeing a lot of comments on this with people saying that they didn't like this volume because nothing happened.
It's not meant to happen.
Which, first of all, that's not even true, though. We didn't get a lot of fights, but that's, in my opinion, I was really happy that they were. To me, it's a good sign for the writing and for just the people who run the show in general, that they were able to take a beat, realize that this show is not all about fighting and not just fan service that with fights, and develop the fucking characters, for Christ's sake. The thing is that the reason why this volume, a big reason why this volume to me is by far the best volume of the show, is that at the end of, from volumes 1, 2, and 3, and even at the end of volume 3, I'm like, I didn't care that much about a lot of the characters, to be honest. Like, I liked certain characters, but I didn't care that much because they didn't develop any of the characters that much. Like, Weiss's development did not pay off until this volume. Blake's development didn't pay off until this volume. Ruby hasn't had any development until this volume. Jean's real development was this volume. Ren and Nora had basically no development until this volume. And Yang's character was entirely the same until the end of volume 3 and now in this volume 2. Now, there's obviously the complaints that Yang still needs to deal with her PTSD. If it's resolved already, that's stupid. But still, every other character, the other 6...
Okay, so the thing is, Yang's PTSD won't be resolved until next time she fights Adam.
Okay, I hope not. I'm just saying, like, I hope that some people are like, well, she didn't deal with it enough.
Just like Cinder,
into a serious fight.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Just like Cinder's won't be resolved until she is face to face with Ruby again.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, either way, the point is, 6 of the characters really, they got all their development in just this volume, because you can say Blake was an important character in the first 3 volumes, but she didn't change it all. Shit. It's the first time she actually admitted issues. Like, this is the first time we're really getting anything with any of these characters. All of the really important things that happen character-wise to the characters' development happen only in this volume. That's how much better this volume is than all the other volumes. And to be honest, like, the thing is, at the end of volume 3, having watched the show and still fallen in love with the show at the end of volume 3, I was like expecting the show to I was like, oh, you know, maybe this character will die, whatever, don't really care, right? But the characters developed enough in this volume, because again, all the development was in this volume for these main 7 characters, that at the end of episode 11, I made a video talking about why not only Ren and Nora shouldn't die at the end of this volume, none of the main characters should really be killed off, in my opinion, throughout the show at all. I want to see this show as a Lord of the Rings style show now, where they don't kill any of the main characters off, because now I actually give a fuck about these characters. I didn't actually give a shit about the characters too much after volume 3. I liked the show after volume 3. Didn't care about the characters too much because there wasn't any substance to them. They gave substance to all the characters. I have respect for a lot of these characters now, and I have reasons to care about all these characters now and not just enjoy and watch the show casually. I'm invested in these characters now after this volume. And that is fucking huge to me. And that's why this volume is so goddamn good. And fuck everybody who says nothing happened. That happened, this volume.
Preach it, brother. Amen.
So piggybacking off what you said, I think for what it was trying to do, this volume is the best. With that said, part of what makes something enjoyable or good, it does have a lot to do with emotional investment, and Volume 3, at least the second half, was just naturally way more emotional, and so I can see why people would still say Volume 3 is the best. But
it's a big Battle of Beacon.
Because the Battle of Beacon was so good and so emotional, and like just looking at everything that happened in those last few episodes. But for those of you who think that, for those of you who put Volume 3 above Volume 4 just because of that, go back and watch the first episode of Volume 3.
Here's the thing. Volume 4
go back and watch the first 2 episodes of Volume 3.
Volume 4 is like Volume 1. It's literally the introduction of a new book in the series.
Except it's not, though.
It's like 1 to 3 is like the prologue.
The thing, and I already addressed this earlier, we had fewer character introductions this volume than in any other volume. This was just
like,
letting the characters be the characters and breathe and interact and actually have room to do so because, and I'm going to get on my little mini soapbox here, no Team Coffee, no Team Funky, no Team Sun, only Sun Wukong.
Hallelujah!
Like,
Preach
God,
it.
no, none of these stupid, superfluous fodder teams from the Vital Festival tournament. None of these, like, random, nonsense, one-off type characters. Like, we didn't even get Adam this volume. We didn't even properly get him this volume. He was only mentioned and appeared in Yang's dream sequence. Everything was focused where it needed to be, which was on the individual characters and the people that mattered the most to their plot lines, to their not just their plot lines, their character arcs.
Mm-hmm. But exactly. It's just like Volume 1, 2, and 3 was like Series 1, I guess you'd say, of RWBY. And Volume 1 was kind of the introductory volume for that, and it's a similar thing, which I think it's going to be Volume 4, 5, maybe 6 for the next series. Volume 4 literally is like the introductory volume, like all the setups happening in this volume for what's going to be happening in the next couple volumes.
Yeah, no,
but see, on that front, Volume 1 was an absolute failure.
Yes, that's true.
Still the mindset that like Volumes 1 and 2 can just be edited together and they're just vastly superior.
I'd say you could do that with all 3 volumes.
That's
the first 3 volumes.
I mean, definitely at least Volumes 1 and 2, because you can get rid of a lot of stuff. Get rid of the Sean arc, and a bunch of other stuff too that were completely unnecessary.
But we need to see how terribly useless he is, so we could appreciate him more later.
Yeah, Mothball, the end of Volume 1 with the Hunt for Torchwick stuff from Volume 2. That would be another one.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it also saying that nothing happened. I mean, we also learned about Raven this volume. Finally, does that not count as something that happened? Because I think it counts as
yeah. And we find out about that Raven is a part of the Bandits and whatnot.
Yeah, not only that, but this was the first volume that actually like introduced something towards the beginning, built it up in the middle, and then paid it off in the end.
Yeah, which is really
some
good.
Parts of it.
If you're of the opinion that if you're just here to watch the show for just purely the fights and not even the characters of the story, go find another show. I hate being this guy because normally everyone knows I'm just kind of there. I'm friendly. I smile and kick and all of that. But that actually does bug me. It's like people are just like nothing happened. There's only like a few fights. It's like it's not about the fights. This is a setup. This is a setup and character development. Get off it.
The biggest downfall, at least as far as the impact that it had on its fandom for Volume 3, was the fact that there's...
People can die.
No. No, that was a good impact. The
Okay.
fact that there was only one episode in Volume 3 that didn't have a fight scene.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That is true.
And
that's
out
the,
of those fight scenes from Volume 3, only a handful of them were any good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also,
There
the
technically
RWBY
was a fight scene in that one episode. They were having a fight on a video game.
That doesn't count, Ballzy.
No, that doesn't count because that's not what I'm talking. That's not the episode I'm talking about. That episode did have a fight scene. That was the fight scene with the video game was the same episode as Coco and Yatsuhashi versus Mercury and Emerald. I'm talking about episode 8.
Really?
Yeah, I'm talking about
I
episode
thought
8.
episode 8 did have like crew.
No, it didn't.
Okay, no.
No,
that's my bad
episode
then.
8 episode 8 had like Ironwood throwing Team RWBY out of the tournament, Yang crying, Nora being
workout Nora.
workout
Episode
Nora.
season 3 of Volume 3.
Don't do anything to the chef.
Yeah.
Season 1. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and
Volume 3.
Yeah.
They literally they was like they're trying to prove to the community, oh hey, we can still do fight scenes even though Monty's not done.
It wasn't. It had not. Okay, see, that had nothing to do with Monty's passing. It had to do with the fact that it was no, it absolutely did not, because it was the tournament arc. It was going to be the tournament arc before Monty passed. It was still the tournament arc after Monty passed. That's why there's a fight scene in every episode, was because it was the tournament arc.
Yep.
And and as far as tournament arcs go, give me the Chunin exams any day.
Yep.
And me and Sock, I think, are the only ones who really know what that means.
That's Naruto.
Yes.
That's a bio.
One of the first series.
Okay. Yeah, it was the second arc of Naruto.
The first. Okay.
Tournament arc no jutsu. But I still think, I mean, so a lot happened in Volume 3 at the end. I still think this.
We had a lot happening all throughout the volume.
This volume was also consistently good because we had great episodes
Wow, I want to say
throughout
consistent.
We had good
consistent,
episodes, and then we had great episodes.
Yeah, and
then we had Blake episodes.
He's not wrong.
I still say though, because I watched we've seen episode 11, and then I binge watched the entire volume, right? And episode 11 does help the rest of the Blake scenes because we know now, because we knew already.
Yeah, like going into it again, knowing what the end result's going to be.
Knowing what the end result is helps
have
the Blake
that in
scenes.
mind as you're rewatching.
Yeah, it really honestly helps the Blake scenes a lot, and makes them less bad. It makes
even though this volume was the same length as Volume 3, basically, it went much quicker than Volume 3. It felt like binge watching them all.
Well, no, it actually did go quicker than Volume 3. Volume 3 had a 3-week hiatus in between episode 6
No,
and 7.
I'm talking about actually watching them all together as a series.
I remember that.
I think this volume might be a little bit shorter, like just by
it
a
might
few
be.
minutes.
It's close.
They're about
It's close either way.
About 3 hours each one. Give or take
it's-
the credits. I think the Volume 3 was like about 5 minutes longer.
It's very close between the two either way. We know that's for sure. They're both definitely on the longer side for sure.
They're over 3 hours, both of them.
Yes, both of them are over 3 hours. But
Yeah, because on one hand we got two of the 3 longest episodes yet in this volume, but we also got one of the shortest episodes since Volume 1, with the menagerie episode, which was only like 10 minutes.
And also episode 8 or 9, was it? No, episode... The one with the, not Yang fighting Tai.
That was in episode 9.
1 second, I'm going to go to the Rooster Teeth site, go to RWBY page, and...
Because I can give you the breakdown right now. Like, episode 1 had the villains, meanwhile, the Legion of Doom, part 1, and Team Ranger versus the Geist. And then Team Ranger bumming around that first village with the blacksmith, aka Best Blacksmith. Episode 2 had Weiss learning about the concert and Team Ranger at Shion Village, at and around Shion Village. Episode 3 had Blake on the boat and Yang just bumming around the house. Episode 4 had Yang and Tai hanging out with the other professors.
And I had the word remnant in my head.
And then Crow talking with Raven. Episode 5 was just menagerie. It was just 10 minutes of Blake and Sun. Episode 6 had the concert, the party, and then the Tyrion vs. Ranger fight. Episode 7 had that was Oscar's second appearance, I think.
Yeah, Punished.
That had a little bit of Oscar. That had Weiss, the fallout from the fallout from the party, and the fallout of the Tyrion vs. Ranger fight with the Tyrion vs. Crow fight. Episode 8.
The next one was the talkie one.
Yeah, the episode 8 was 20 minutes long, and 15 minutes of that it was the garbage one. I still think that Menagerie is a worse episode. I know Dude disagrees.
Yeah, I do now. I definitely disagree now. But that's okay. They're both not the best.
Yeah, they're both they are the two weakest episodes in this volume. Because so much of it was just exposition and not even good or well delivered exposition.
Yeah.
Exposition.
Episode 9 was the one that had all 4 of them. Had all 4 girls doing stuff.
And that's about 12 minutes. No, 13 minutes.
That was 15 minutes.
10 was the greatest episode in the history of the universe.
Yeah.
10 was the best episode of this volume, I think. Then 11 was another episode 9, but better Blake scene, worse everything else.
Yeah,
and then then you had
we
this episode.
got to see how goddamn terrifying
finale, which was still and the finale was still a very good episode overall. I would say definitely one of the better episodes from the show, absolutely. And the fight was one of the better fights ever. I mean, I'd say because here's the thing: if you talk about a number of very strong episodes, this volume had the most because you had. I think 2 was very strong. 1 was good. 2 was a very strong episode. I think 4 was really strong.
Punch my heart in the dick. Why don't you roost the teeth?
7 and 9.
4 is in contention of being the best episode of this volume.
Yeah, 4 is a really amazing episode. I think 1 and 2 were both good as well. 4 was amazing. 7 was really good. 9 was really good, minus the part of the rooftop scene, but still overall great episode. And then 10 and 12 were also really good, with 10 being one of the best episodes of the show ever.
Yeah,
and
I still have it at number 3.
And 12, I think most people would agree, if you just had the first half of it too, that scene, that fight scene, and the Renora feels and just everything that happens there, that scene also one of the best scenes from the show. And so if you talk about just like throughout the volume, you have a ton of great episodes, very good and great episodes, more so than any other volume. Whereas 3, their best stuff was just 10, 11, 12 was the best. There's other good episodes, but 10, 11, 12 were the best. And this one has more really strong.
And a lot of people will put 9 in there too because of Penny, but goddamn was that villain speech stupid.
Yeah, it was very stupid. And
they were nothing more than me.
Goddamn motherfucking Jean, the only one who's able to put 2 and 2 together.
Also, Jessica Negri cannot voice act, for Christ's sake.
She did good this volume.
She didn't do anything. Jesus Christ, I'm still angry that they gave her that part. I would have loved to have Cinder have a legit voice actor who doesn't suck, but Jessica Negri is a garbage voice actor. She's
good at doing that one thing. That is the cocky sarcasm stuff.
Slug.
Yeah.
Oh dear Roman, you'll know when you need to know.
You'll know what you need when you need to know. Bitch, I kind of need to know if I...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like... Also, that line was such a shittily written line. Anyway.
Well delivered line, but...
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, you can chalk a lot of the dialogue up to that. Like, seriously, on the whole, the voice actors are way better than the writers.
Yeah,
including Miles, who does both.
Yeah, that's true.
They're getting there though. They're getting there. We as much as we love this show, they are getting there.
No, this is better. I mean, and there's also the fact that Maya. I mean, God, the show looks so much fucking better. Anybody who says it overall looks a lot better. Let's be honest.
There's 2 like really minor complaints I have with Maya, and it's more how they've used it. A lot of the fight scenes seem a little more stiff. And also, the colors don't pop as much. It seems a lot more muted, but
I'll give you that.
Such a nitpick.
Yeah, those are minor things that I'd say overall the visuals are better. We get facial reactions and facial acting.
Yeah, I'll take that over the vibrant colors.
Had before. It's so that is so much like a big improvement.
And the Grim effects.
I'd also say a lot of the character designs look better just
They
in terms
still
of.
need to work on
Yes.
continuity and the scenes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true, but I'm just saying. But also, like, you know, Yang's new outfit. Yang. Here's the thing with Yang's outfit. I always had a problem with. I know it's not really that big of a deal, but I am going to rant about this real quick. Yang looked kind of like a whore in her original outfit. She did. She's wearing fucking booty shorts, and she's got her boobs hanging out. Like,
I have no
Are
complaint
you hearing me
against
complaining?
No, I see where dude's going with this.
I'm
Yeah.
going somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with this. The reason why that it's a problem to me is that it kind of. She's supposed to be Yang's supposed to be a badass. She's supposed to be a happy-go-lucky, carefree badass. That's her general personality, right? But they made her look like the flirty kind, and they characterized her a little bit too much as the flirty kind of that.
I think they do just the opposite. Like she looks.
It's heavily implied in the first episode.
The thing
in the first episode, in the beginning, though, that's what she's implied as, though. In her trailer and in the beginning of Volume 1, that's how she's characterized.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot more dissonance with Yang than probably any of the other major characters. And
in Volume 1, Jean has like 15 different personalities. It's retarded.
That was dumb too.
That's also an issue. So
did Yang in Volume 1.
Yes, Yang did too. So that's my point. Is they didn't know what she was at that point, but they got her looking like the flirty, almost slutty kind of badass.
And then double down on her mother side.
Yeah. So now, but the thing is, it turns out that's not really how she is. She's happy. She's still that kind of carefree, go with the flow kind of person, but it's almost more in like a, I don't want to say tomboyish way, but just in like a pure badass chick who would ride a motorcycle kind of way. That's not to say she's not flirty at all, but that's not as much of an important part of her character. This outfit fits that so much more, in my opinion. That's a big upgrade.
In my opinion, she actually, and this is just personal preference, I think she looks a lot hotter in this new outfit.
I agree. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop everyone. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So let's do just a warm up for the next podcast of the theorizing.
Oh, but I'm not. I still have. Okay.
Okay, what do you want to say? What do you want to say so we can just get it out?
I mean, I don't know where to put it though, because I still have my Renora soapbox that I need to talk. Do you want that to save that for next podcast, or are we doing that now?
Just do it fucking now.
Yeah. Are you sure it fits here, or do you want me to save it for like speculation?
We went all across the board here on this one towards the end, so it doesn't really matter at this point.
All right.
Okay, this is do it.
Go. Okay, I can have my soapbox now.
3,
yeah, go.
2,
all right,
1.
All right. So that was what because I also wanted to say, there's other character designs that looked better. Like I like Jean's character design improvement for real quick. Nora's looks better as well. Like there's some improvements in just like in things like that too that I liked, and I don't know if that's necessarily due to Maya, but I think that's I liked a lot of that.
It helps.
It helps exactly. So, and going off of, like I said, the characterization improved massively in this volume, like it's just a ridiculous degree, as I mentioned earlier. And obviously, to me, the biggest and most important part of that is what they did with Renora this volume, and specifically and basically near the end in episodes 10 and 12. And High Powered, I thought it was just me noticing this, but High Powered and I have discussed this in the podcast and other venues as well. But they were doing a bit more Renora hinting in general, anyways, in this volume, as we discussed how they kind of with each other even more, looking at each other even more. I think High Powered and I touched on that as well. I wasn't the only one who noticed stuff like that, but the development they gave them in episodes 10 and now 12, there's a lot to care about them now, and they didn't have before, because everybody was like, oh yeah, there's nice couple, whatever, everybody just assumes they're going to get together, but they did a lot to give reason to love them and care about them now that they didn't have before. There's a lot of people posting after episode 10, it's like, shit, I didn't give a fuck about Renora before, but I sure as hell do now. I actually ship them now and know that I didn't care about them before. The scene with Ren and Nora underneath the the buildings, those two parallels, I fucking love those parallels that they did there because it's such a good call. Then, like I said, they did a lot of callbacks in general in this volume that I really like. They did the callback with Jean returning the favor to Ruby in what episode was that? Where it was 10 also, I think.
For what now?
Where they did the callback for Jean to give the pep talk to Ruby.
Yes.
Because I thought that was really great. Like they started doing callbacks. It's not just for Ren and Nora, because that was a really good one that they did there. And they did a callback between obviously between episodes 10 and 12 with Ren and Nora, where Ren saves Nora's life when she's a little kid, and Nora saves Ren's life as an adult. Because let's be honest, Ren would have totally got himself fucking killed. That wasn't when Nora says, "I'm not gonna let you kill yourself." That was not.
She meant it.
Yeah, that was not an exaggeration. I think we can tell. And again, the improved facial features of Maya really helped show that he was not going to stop, and she was the only person that was going to get him to do that. And God, the delivery from Sam Ireland was amazing. It was quiet, but you could really feel the emotion in her voice there. I love how when she grabs him, she's still like not even looking up, and she actually has to fucking slap him to get him to stop. And like I said, we mentioned this before, that the the blink where he sees her as a little girl to an adult is a big deal. And I'm trying to look through my notes here real quick to say this. So episode 10 was where Nora says, "I got you here, don't I?" and gives him a look, and Ren gives her a kind of knowing look. Now, my interpretation of that was that was kind of the moment where he sort of realizes how she feels about him. And then in episode 12, that when he, blinks and sees her as an adult, was him realizing his feelings for her. And I think that was the visual cue they were doing. And again, the fact that they're actually able to do a decent job with visual cues for once is also really nice, and I appreciate that they did it with Renora specifically. Now I'm kind of skipping through a lot of things now because I know I'm going to go on. I'd go on forever, and it's not really the appropriate place for it. But I do want to rant about the airship scene real quick because that was really beautiful. Ren finally reciprocating feelings for Nora, which we've already discussed. Fuck you, anybody says that that's platonic, because it's goddamn not. One of the important parts about it is that Nora was surprised by the fact that Ren grabs her hand, and that is a sign of him showing romantic feelings for her. Now, a music cue that I really like, that I'm not sure if I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but obviously Nora's theme is Boop, and I almost want to say just Renora's theme is Boop, because Boop has not been played without both of them in the scene. So I want to say it's their theme, to be honest. And if you listen to the part that is played when Ren and Nora are little kids underneath the building, and Ren saves Nora's life, the lyrics that go with the theme that plays is "Never knew a time when you weren't by my side, the one thing I could always count," so on and so forth, right? And that obviously completely fits what's going on there, because that's how they met and everything, and how Ren's been there for Nora, right? Well, in the airship, when they're sitting there, the music, the lyrics that go with the theme that's playing is the chorus, which is "I think, oh well, what am I to do? I didn't know that I would fall in love with you, and what to do right now, I haven't got a clue." Right now, so that is originally thinking that was Nora's line. Well, what happens in the scene is when the first line when they're sitting there is I think, oh well, what am I to do? I didn't know. Pause. The moment Ren grabs her hand, the line that plays is I didn't know I would fall in love with you. So in my mind, I may be overanalyzing this, but I don't think so, because I think the music guys have always known what they're doing, and they've always been good at this kind of stuff. So I want to say that was entirely on purpose. And that, to me now, I didn't know this before, but that to me is confirmed after this episode because of that, because they specifically put that part of the chorus and put that line, because they didn't have to do that. They could have used a different part of the song. So I want to say that was entirely on purpose. That that's Ren falling in love with Nora.
It's animation. Everything is purposeful.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I don't know if that's been pointed out yet, but I'm definitely going to make a post about that because that's important to me. I think that actually really matters because we know the music guys have always done that. And they even put a pause in there right before the line is fall in love with you, which is where he grabs her hand. So I think that's really clever that they took that from Ren's perspective, say Ren falling in love with Nora. Because we already know
that's
Nora's
so freaking adorable.
I'm
just thinking about that and replaying the scene in my head, like, oh my god, that scene's so cute.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I had to go on this little tangent about that. I think that's actually really important.
I'm a grown damn man. Why am I gushing like a schoolgirl?
Yeah, exactly. Like I noticed that last night, and I'm like, oh, I gotta look into all of this because I realized because I know they do those music cues, and they're very purposeful about which part of Boop they've used for each scene. So I think that's really adorable, and I really I think that's them kind of confirming Renora without having to do it with dialogue. I think that's showing Ren falling in love with Nora without having to say anything about it. They're doing it with the music instead.
Yes, Ren does reciprocate.
Yeah. And it's more obvious when you look into the music part of it and also the fact that Nora was surprised by him grabbing her hand. That's very important because she didn't know until then how he felt, and that's really important that he did that. So yeah, I mean the whole scene where God, I actually shed a tear. I was getting really emotional when Nora actually grabbed Ren because I knew what she was going to do and I knew what she was going to say. And she basically said essentially what I thought. And I almost felt like she was speaking for me and the entire Renora fandom when she's like, after everything we've been through, I'm not going to let it end. Because it's exactly what I've been trying to tell people for 2 fucking stressful weeks about how it's bullshit if they died. And Nora's like, yeah, it is bullshit if we die. So thank you, Nora. Thank you, Sam Ireland. And yeah, Renora was fucking adorable.
That slap, though.
It was good, though. That was the best slap of the volume. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't listening to her. And the other thing is, the difference is it makes her actually listen, whereas Blake slapping Sun is just like, he's annoyed.
Or Jacques slapping Weiss.
Yeah, when Nora slaps Ren, what does he do? He calms down. It's like, oh, that's like how you can see their relationship. It's, oh shit, she's fucking serious. I better listen to her. I will actually slap. And you notice she slaps him and she lets go because she knows at that point he's listening to her. He's not going to go anywhere anymore because he's going to actually listen to her. So, yeah.
She's being physical. She's being serious.
I think this did a lot. The reason why I love Renora so much is because it doesn't have a lot of the bullshit, like, what's it called, like a love triangle bullshit that I always hate in other shows. It's like we were ranting about Renora compared to like what fucking Arrow has done with their bullshit and
that was the other night.
There's most shows make mistakes like that, and they're doing so. They did a really good job.
Volume 4 of Arrow. God damn it.
So much bullshit. I stopped watching the show. I'm done after that season. So the fact that they're doing they did such a good job building the romance and these little really honest and beautiful moments between 2 characters where even if you don't ship them, you can't deny the impact and emotion of the scenes that they've done with these 2 characters. And I'm really happy about that.
Down your throat like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's enough, and they did a really beautiful job with it. And to build these 2 characters up as more than just a friends become lovers character, like it's literally all they've ever had. Like that's a really cool way to build a relationship. It's like taking a slightly unique take on a trope because it's more than just the we've known each other for everything. It's deeper than that, and I think they did a really good job showing that in multiple ways. Finally, with some dialogue, some backstory, some visual cues, some audio cues. Like that's a lot for them. I think they did a really fucking good job with this. They're doing RWBY as a show is actually doing a good job with romance, which is something a lot of shows do a really shitty job with. At least they're handling this couple specifically really well.
They're taking the time.
Yeah, they're taking the time, and they're not rushing, but they're doing a great job with the scenes that are heavily weighted with romance and not making them just mushy gushy. It's a deeper connection than just infatuation and just romance. It's like a deeper love or something like that. I'm sounding too cheesy right now, but I don't know. I think they've done a really good job with that, and I'm really, as somebody who liked Renoir before, goddamn, am I happy as fuck. I'm overjoyed with this shit. So
I don't know if this is just me, but the last episode of this volume, episode 12, really didn't feel like an episode of RWBY. Like, it felt like an episode from a different show. I'm not sure what show, but it didn't feel like an episode that we've gotten used to from RWBY.
in like what scenes or whatever make you think
Like
that?
the second half of the
But we
in
got
way.
we got
It's
stuff
in a
like
good way. In a good way, but it's in a good way. But it didn't feel like, hey, it's like this isn't normally what RWBY does, or like the
But
volume.
it kind of is. We got something very similar with the Volume 3 ending with Salem's monologue.
Yeah.
I mean, they are doing improvements that make it feel a little than just previous RWBY. Like I said, these visual cues that they did. The visual cue,
and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah, I agree, because like the visual cue of Ren blinking, they've never done anything that clever before. I'm not saying it's super the cleverest thing ever, but the show itself has never done anything like that before.
Simplicity is key.
Yeah. And
All right.
On the topic of Salem, is she meant to be Maleficent?
She's supposed to be the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So Maleficent.
No, Maleficent is from Sleeping Beauty.
Witch from Oz, from Wizard
Well,
of Oz.
she reminds me of
Sleeping
Maleficent.
Beauty.
I know, but she reminds me of Maleficent as well.
That's just how you see it, I guess.
Okay, that's all I had for that bit.
All right, so let's do a little bit of theorizing as a teaser for the next podcast. Okay, let's just keep it real simple. Short and sweet character predictions for the main four girls for the next volume. Sounds good?
Okay.
And then I think we can end it on there, and then we'll just have the whole next podcast going to town on that.
Oh boy, prepare your butts, people.
All right, since Sock always goes last, do you want to go first this time, Sock?
Yeah, let's
Why do you
go
always do
reverse
this to
order
me?
then.
Well, because we say our piece, and then you're like, nah, it's good. Y'all cover what I wanted to say.
Yeah, let's go,
Well,
let's
I mean,
go.
as long as it gets out there, I'm just saying.
But
Okay, it's fine.
I'm trying to be fair as a moderator here.
I appreciate that. All hail high power. See, for the girls,
Short and sweet, just each girl individually. What do you expect? Well, it doesn't have to be short and sweet, because, we can take as long as we want here, though. It doesn't really matter. But just focus on the main four girls. Like, don't need an overarching, craziness. Just what do you expect is going to happen to the main four girls?
We have a whole other podcast for that.
Yeah, just what do we expect to happen to the girls in the next volume?
I got nothing. I'm literally slamming my head against the wall. We didn't we got a bunch of parts from them at the end of this episode, but we didn't really get anything for what they might do. Like, we know what Blake's mission is, but how she's going to go about that, we don't know.
You do make a fair point. So you handing it off to media then?
Yeah, media. Just media. Take my runtime. Media. Take it.
This is more of a want than an actual prediction.
Yeah, wants are fine too.
I want next volume to be more investigation heavy. Like when Miles and Carrie are sitting down to write this, I don't want them I don't want them to binge watch a bunch of shitty shonen shows. I want them to binge watch Batman the Animated Series.
Hold on,
yeah.
media. Sorry. Are you basing that on the fact of if Arthur Watson is actually based off Watson, but like an evil Watson?
I'm basing that off of the fact that Watts is clearly a more intellectual type villain, and that
Tesla,
and that Leo Lionheart is going to be either dead or working against the good guys.
Yeah, I would like a little bit more mystery investigative.
That would be awesome. Yes, please.
Yeah, more like detective heavy. More like, okay, something is up here. We got to figure out what's going on, what's going wrong.
They already
Seem too hospitable.
They already pissed off the stupid fans that only want fight scenes already. Let's piss them off even more.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm all for that. That's
like,
not a joke. Fuck those people.
I mean, I just freaking called out everybody who likes shonen. Like, come on.
I hate shonens.
If the investigation round happens,
I
want to
like
see a good
shonens,
chase scene.
but come on,
I
Batman
like
the Anime
chase
series is like the gold standard of a detective cartoon.
Yeah, and I hate shonens. The only two anime I watched all the way through were one season, and were not, show anything like shonens. So I would absolutely hate for them to make it like a shonen. So
You should go and watch.
That's what they do though.
Soul Eater. That's pretty good.
I have mixed feelings on Soul Eater, but I do not want to piss off that fan base. I do not want to piss off that fan base. But yeah, so like I think I do want Yang to meet up. I do want both Yang and Weiss to be meeting up with them really, really early on in the volume. Maybe have Blake do her own thing and like meet up with Team Sun first, and then have so that's like Team Juniper, RWBY, and Sun as kind of a collective, a Dirty Dozen or just 11, like the Konoha 11, and like doing these investigations and working together, doing teamwork and stuff like that, with a lot more scenes of them just interacting and hanging out and doing the stuff that the writers are actually good at. And yeah, that's really what I want from Volume 5.
High power? Oh wait, no, he's getting it. Dude, you go then.
I'll go. I don't have much to say, so it's okay. I don't want to ruin much of what I'm podcast because I definitely going to take some time tomorrow before we do it on Tuesday to really think about what I'm going to be expecting or what I'm going to be wanting. I'm going to echo what Media said, and goddamn, that would be awesome. I would absolutely love that if that's what they went, if that's the angle they went with, more of a detective style. Again, that's also part of what the boss things say. Season volume 2 or book 2. There we go. That's what it's fucking called. I can't remember what fucking Avatar calls it.
An hour and a half later.
That's what it was. And again, I will always maintain that is one of the greatest seasons of TV period ever made was book 2 of Avatar. And if they go with that style, like a bit more investigation, mystery, that style, the secretly corrupt, secretly police state city. Oh my God, that would be fucking amazing. Please do that. I would like
to see a chase scene, which is good.
More chase scenes.
Yeah, that would be amazing if that was the way they went. So yes, please to that, and the Boss Things. Yes, please to Batman the Animated Series and Boss Things Say becoming Volume 5 of RWBY. Yeah, I agree that Weiss needs to get there quick. It certainly seems like she's going to. Shouldn't be a problem with that. I hope that Yang gets there pretty soon as well. And again, I agree Blake could probably be doing her own thing for a little while. I hope for a rough reintroduction to Blake. She said she hopes they hate her. I hope they kind of hate her a bit too, to be honest, because she deserves it.
Or at least give her shit about it.
Yeah, she needs to. It should not go smoothly. I do not want Team RWBY to just get back together super easily, especially after everything they've done with Jean and Renora. And yes, they're now Renora. They're not. I don't call them by. That's their name now.
Yeah.
I can think a lot of people could agree with that at this point. So Jean and Renora have been developed a lot this season, and I've really become a lot more attached to them. Like, I was not this crazy about Renora before this volume, and in this, especially these last 2 episodes. And even Jean, who's still not my favorite character, but goddamn, he's important as shit now, even more than before. So they need to be important still. I don't want them to get neglected. And
I'm just happy he got an upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. And everything else, all my Renora predictions, what I think they're going to do with that. Obviously, I'm going to do my research and bring you guys that bullshit that you don't really care about, but I'm going to say anyways to the next podcast.
All right. So like the whole investigation thing would be cool, especially if Mistral has some like weird surveillance or police state to it. That would definitely be interesting. I look forward to all the interactions between Weiss and Winter. I want Snowbird to become a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, Snowbird. Oh, that is the ship. Yes, please.
Eh.
I really hope.
I had to think about that name for a second, but I think I got.
I want all those comics of Crow and Winter on a mission together. Crow's like, no, let's have sex. And Winter's like, no, we're on a mission. He's like, too bad we're having sex. It's like, but it's so good, I can't resist.
I was wounded. I need treatment.
He just spills grape juice on his. Oh, the wound opened up again. I need you to help.
Lick it off.
God.
I look forward to Weiss's. I look forward to Weiss's interactions with Winter. I would assume Weiss will go find Winter first, and then they will find, and then Winter will find, and then Weiss and Winter will run into Crow and Team Ranger, because I would assume that if Winter knows that Crow is in that area, then she's probably gonna go to him for help, or like at least update him on what's going on. Whenever it comes to Yang, I look forward to her rejoining up with the team. I'm in my mindset. I want to say Ruby's like semi-permanently back on the team, on Team Ranger. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Oscar joins up with Weiss, Blake, Yang together, and then they start doing stuff together. That would actually be cool, because then we could have the whole Oscar hooking up with Yang happening.
I want to see that crack ship happen. I want to see that crack ship happen of Ozpin and Ruby happen.
That was the true end game. Fuck Lancaster, even though I am a Lancaster member. Speaking of other things, I would like Lancaster stuff to happen. That would be cool.
I wouldn't be against that.
With Yang and Raven, I look forward to the moment they run into each other. Because I really just want like Yang to get like the answer of why Raven left, and then I just want Yang to blow off Raven. I also kind of want, this is what we brought up in like the 11th podcast, where like, oh, they got rescued by the Bandit Clan, and now they're kind of like forced to work with the Bandit Clan. I would like to see Crow convincing Raven to help out with whatever goes down. We have no clue what the timetable is on the White Fang attack. It could be like very soon, or it could be very late, but you never know. But yeah, I mean that's basically really it. Like, I just want there to be like investigations and chase scenes. Like, it needs to be almost like a spy thriller. Like think about like Captain America and the Winter Soldier with all that spy stuff going on and all that. Yes, a political thriller.
Heat.
That's what we need. Sock said that he has something to say, so I'm gonna actually hand it off to him.
Okay. Are you sure you don't have more to say about Power?
Yeah. No, I think I'm done.
Okay. Well, you raised a lot of good points, High Power. I do appreciate all of those. And yes, I'm agreeing with the whole general consensus of the spy thriller volume. My one thing is just a thought. It's just like how I want to see how Weiss deals with her new life per se now, because she's always had money. Now she has to deal with a limited amount of what she has. And sure, there's Winter that you all can think of, but Winter only has like a military budget, and I don't think she'll spend much time just kind of looking over Weiss and making sure she's taken care of like that. Weiss is going to have to do solo things.
Well, hold on real quick, Stock. Wasn't it Weiss and Blake where the joke was we'd make amazing prostitutes? Isn't it them two? That's the
yes.
meme?
that was a Mammoth Rider.
That's a good meme.
That was a Mammoth Rider.
Yeah, that was a Mammoth Rider meme.
Everybody knows that meme. Weiss is in that meme. I'm just saying,
Weiss
No,
and
not Weiss. Not Weiss. No.
I don't want that either. I love Weiss actually,
I
especially.
refuse.
It'd be
I
like
did
Hunger
too.
Games. It'd
But
be like Hunger Games.
I had to
The
say
victors
that.
sell
Though.
themselves.
I know it was
Yeah,
well
my-
played,
my-
well played, but I just want to see how she deals with like everyday life now.
No, I agree.
Sounds like
That'd
something
be
out of one of my
interesting.
hentais.
Okay.
Can I have a comment for a second? I want to see Yang just trying to find a Ruby, whatnot, just walk into where they're staying and just open the door and just see like Ren and Nora just kissing or making out or whatever. Like, and
That-
closed door.
Yeah,
No, Ying's just like, go get him, and then
That's-
close the door.
yeah. That's actually that's part of my prediction for Renora. I'll say it now. I'm giving at least a 60, if not a 75%. You know what? Fuck it. At least a 75 to 80% chance that's how they're going to like fully confirm them as a couple because of how they've handled the last episode.
And Yang's just gonna walk in.
And especially if that's the style of show they go for, but that investigative type where it's where they're in a place. You know what I mean? I agree that I think that's probably going to happen, and I'd love that, to be honest. So yeah.
I want Yang to have a legitimate love interest.
I'm torn on that. I'm honestly
Yeah.
torn on that.
Yeah, I'm torn on that as well because we have Black Sun getting. They're showing some hints of Lancaster, and Renora is just fucking amazing. So I don't know how many more. I don't know. Like they're doing a really great job with Renora. Not just because I'm crazy about them, like partly because I'm so crazy. They're doing a good job with it. Damn it.
Yeah, and well, we're undoubtedly gonna get Team Sun for Volume 5, and
I don't want Neptune.
I'll save all those comments for the next podcast.
Same. We have to talk about that, obviously. Yeah, but so yeah, I think we're starting to go to stray into next podcast stuff now. So
Yeah.
we might just want to give our final thoughts on the volume and the episode, and then head out maybe.
Yeah.
Is
Do you have any Ballzy? We kind of glossed over your turn.
That was literally. I didn't have much to say.
All right, so
And
top
you
to
kinda talked
bottom,
about what I wanted
final
to talk
thoughts.
About. Final thoughts.
Actually, you know what? I'll just go first.
Yep.
Final thoughts. Loved this season. I'm just sad that I have to wait for another season. I have to wait months and months. I know it takes time, but I just want Volume 5 right now. I love this show. I love this season. I'm so glad they went into more character depth than just fight scenes. Because as Dude was ranting about earlier on his soapbox 2.0, you can have all the fight scenes in the world, but if you don't care about the characters, then they're just characters that characters select on a fighting game. You don't care about
They're just two action figures getting banged together like they're being played with by toddlers.
Yeah, like when I was just playing with action figures.
You want the fights to mean something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it's like there has to be a story, there has to be a purpose, and without that, there's no point. But all in all, just a giant heart symbol. Just a giant heart symbol. Media.
Are you with us? Are you with the dark side?
Huh?
It's your turn, dude.
Oh. No. Okay. So my sister just came down and asked for the rest of my sandwich.
Okay, I was like, Media, you have 4 pass. Don't try to take the 5th one.
So. Okay. So overall thoughts on this volume, I liked it a lot. I think they really nailed storytelling down. I do still really hate the Blake arc. I just think that not enough thought got put into it, and so like a lot of stuff just happens, and I've already went on tangents about that in my reviews and stuff. Not like even setting aside Blake being a terrible character at the beginning of this volume, the actual plot that connected the Blake scenes together was not. It was the weak spot of this volume. But I really feel like they nailed storytelling, and just to give one example, a brief example is Yang. So we see her suffering with PTSD. Then we see an inciting incident with, oh, I'm the reason why my dad can't, like, my sister is out there fighting this thing and I'm just sitting on my butt doing nothing. Okay, I'm going to put this arm on. I'm going to work through this. Next time we see her, she's working through with Tai. She's training. She beats him, and then she thinks that she's ready to go out there. And, yeah, she's not completely there yet. I think she will have moments of doubt in future volumes, but that's just one of the 4 plot lines that were going on in this volume. And it went throughout the entire volume instead of being dropped right after it was introduced, like most other plot lines in this series have.
Still would have liked to see another flashback sequence. Or PTSD dream sequence.
No, I think one was enough. I think
especially if we get more in Volume 5, then it's okay.
Okay.
The only other flashback scene I would have wanted is a Team Stark flashback.
Yes.
But they might be getting a spin-off show, so...
Did they seriously say that they're going to do a spin-off show for Team
Someone
Stark?
said that they want to have a spin-off show and they want to have a live-action RWBY one day, but if they're going to do a spin-off show, let's be honest, it's almost 100%
It would not work in
live.
I'm telling everybody who's listening to this right now, RWBY would not work in live action.
I agree. I don't want it either. I'm just saying they said that they want to do it, which means they probably will eventually. I hope they don't.
What if James Cameron got involved?
Let's be honest, Laser Team wasn't that great. I hope they don't go that route. They have to go big budget
really liked Laser Team.
But they won't be able to do RWBY in that way. Fuck no.
No, because Laser Team was conceived as a live-action movie, not an over-the-top anime.
If RWBY was to be done properly, the budget would have to be at least $300 million, just for considering all the special effects and crazy shit. Probably more like $350 million to make a proper RWBY movie, and they're not going to get that. So I hope they don't.
Not only that, but Miles and Carey just do not have Hollywood caliber writing.
Well, they might have to ship it out to somebody else. I don't know what they would do. But either way, I don't want them to ruin.
Hire Hideo Kojima to do the movie. He's always wanted to make a movie.
Oh God, no! Please, no.
Yeah, media.
What if James Cameron?
Okay, see, James
It'd
Cameron.
just be explosions.
Well, no,
it'd be a long explosion.
No, I wouldn't want to see James Cameron. I'd want to see George Miller, the guy who made Mad Max, directed.
I don't think he could. I don't think he could do something as weird.
Have you seen Mad Max Fury Road?
Yes, I have, and that is still really grounded within reality and insanity. I don't think he could do something as out there, like fantasy filled as RWBY.
Yeah.
I think a James Cameron or Steven Spielberg would.
He made a movie about freaking barn animals which talk.
And again, that was a really grounded movie.
Happy Feet, penguins that dance.
Still
and
really grounded.
That
it's
was
not a
very
movie.
good either.
It's also not a very good movie. Yeah. So. Okay, either way, I don't want a movie anyway, to be honest. I just prefer them putting more budget into the show itself. Thank you very much.
Which they have been doing that with the animation studio.
And maybe hire like a really, really good Hollywood writer on the writing team. How about that, maybe?
I'd say just freaking get Lindsay Jones to help out with some of the writing.
We talked about that and how I disagree with that and how I don't think she's good enough. But either way, that would be a better spend of their budget in turning RWBY into turning into a bigger show and instead of making a movie out of it, because I don't want to see the characters as live action characters. I like them how they are, especially in Maya. All right, like just leave them like that. But either way,
they get to a point.
The spin-off series is much more likely, and that's probably going to be Team Stark anyways, which was the original point of what I was saying. Is Stark flashback maybe. They're just going to do a Stark spin-off show anyway. And I'd be okay with that, at least, personally.
All right, closing thoughts time.
Those were our closing thoughts.
No, we haven't gotten to that.
This is high-powered's
turn.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, we went into the media and went on another tangent, okay? That's just how we do things here.
I mean, I enjoyed this volume. I think it's better than Volume 3. Shocker. Volume 3 was good, but Volume 4 was very good in its own different way. I just hope we get more. If I could just like fast forward, the better part of a year from now, and the volume is already happening, or it'd be even better if I could fast forward to it's all over and I could just binge watch it all in one sitting. I'd do that.
Oh yes, but if only, dude.
Like,
Elon Musk, invent that damn time machine so I could pirate that stuff and bring it back to the past.
Just like a reverse hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. I enjoyed it. I look forward to doing this again whenever the new season starts up. Volume, whatever you want to call it.
What are we gonna do in the off season? Are we gonna do chibi podcasts or some shit? I don't know. I feel like we have to do something because I think we have. I fucking have fun doing this shit. We're gonna have to think of.
Do you want to do a season 1 of RWBY Chibi podcast to begin with?
Oh, we could. Yeah, we could do a summary of Chibi 1 and into. Yeah, that's true. We could. That's media. Are you hearing this?
I am planning something chibi related for early April.
I think we gotta think of at least some things to do for us because I have fun doing this and I'd like to have a few podcasts at least on and off before we get to the next volume. Cause it's a fucking 9-month gap basically, and it's a long time. You know what I mean? I'm gonna almost be married by the time the next volume comes out. So, it's we gotta have something to do in that off season. But I absolutely loved this volume overall. It's the general direction I wanted to see the show go in. I liked like my soapbox said before, the character development was huge, and the show's still not perfect. There's still a lot of little issues with it, but they're going in the right direction. I love that they're making me actually give a shit about all the characters and not just the show itself, and not just the fighting and the cleverness of the world or the cleverness of the weapons and all that other fantasy shit, which is cool. But I love that I can care about the characters now, and that's always the thing I love the most. I have real reason to be so crazy in love with Renora now. They handle that so well. It's so nice to see a fantasy show actually do a genuinely fucking great job with a romance. Because most of the time it's bullshit, and it's just it's just it's that, or it's will they, won't they until the end of the show, or it's a love triangle, or it's not impactful enough. And they didn't make any of those mistakes with Renora, and I fucking love that. They developed them as characters into like the oneness that is Renora. Jean is maturing. There's so much to love about what they've done with that. And I'm glad that the volume finale, that fight scene was so impactful. And that the Renora was amazing, but also that the fight scene was really good, and that I like that Grim design. I think hopefully we get some more creepy like demon-esque Grim in the future. I would love that.
I want a Skinwalker Grim.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Terrifying Grim.
Yeah, I like Maya better. I like that they're able to do facial features. like I said, they're doing callbacks now. They did visual cues. They still have the audio cues that they have. It's becoming a deeper show as a whole overall. Like I said, there's some mistakes and stuff, but they're making it. They're doing more with it, making it. It's a bit more artistic of a show now. I think in a lot of ways, and I really like that. And like echoing what Sock said, God, it's going to be hard to wait. Echoing what High Power and Sock said, 9 months without this. Chibi's been cute, but damn, I'm going to have a hard time waiting, especially with how great this volume is. It only makes it more difficult to wait.
Do you want to do a Red versus Blue podcast?
Yeah, maybe we'll have to.
I don't know. Season 4, the last 2 seasons of Red versus Blue have not been very good.
Well, when the DVD comes out / Blu-ray, we could do a podcast for that as well.
That's true. We can talk about the commentary. Yeah, that's true. Because I'm definitely going to listen.
Or the soundtrack.
And the soundtrack.
That probably won't come out to probably closer to mid-year.
Well, we're going to have to come up with some stuff to do for podcasts.
Even if it's not RWBY related,
I think something we might do, just something I'm thinking of right now, is maybe we'll do a podcast as a review for each volume of the series up until, so maybe 1, 2, and 3, something like that. I don't know, but I feel like we should do something.
Do podcasts in conjunction with certain videos I have planned.
We could even do a shipping podcast next week. Yeah. Because
would it be next week?
Yeah, because February 14th is next week.
Next Tuesday.
If you guys are down for something like that, we could do that around that time as well.
Yeah.
So, I see no reason why I shouldn't talk about Renora even more. So,
Prepare your butts.
I can talk about all
Oh
my
my
shitty
God.
crack ships.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why not? We gotta come up with stuff to keep our if we
I
the
can
more
talk
consistent
about
we
my
are, the
crack
more people
husband
will be.
and
The more consistent we are with stuff like this, also just the more people will be watching by the time Volume 5 starts, and we're still doing the podcast.
yes, people listening right now,
Yeah.
keep on watching.
There's some.
Just
There are
people
some.
who have been sitting listening to us for 2.5 hours now.
Hey, if people listen to the co-optional podcast for 3 hours and 15 minutes, how long that show sometimes goes, then people will listen to us talk about RWBY. Okay.
I only have 3 words. Uno the movie.
Oh my god. I forget.
Okay.
You made me remember that.
Why?
You're
Just-
welcome.
Fuck you.
All right, my turn. Show was great. It's good. They really need to work on the choreography in some bits, and the scene flow. Yeah, mostly it's all good. Pretty good season. Oh, sorry, not season. Volume. Gotta get that right. People will yell.
I don't know, I always say episodes even though they're technically chapters.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's right.
I've known about that, I'm just like, fuck it.
Yeah, that's true.
They're episodes. Chapters are for written
Volume,
narratives.
book, episode, season. Fuck out.
Unless it's Avatar.
Yeah.
Book 1, chapter 5. 5. Yeah. I am hoping that, the next volume will be even better and go kind of along that detective route. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're really on that, aren't we?
And what if that doesn't come to fruition? What then? Are we going to be sad pandas?
Yep.
Maybe. It seems to be set up that way, and I'm hoping that they do find this general bugs or whatnot, listening devices inside their rooms and whatnot, and then Lionheart's like, "Hey Salem, you should probably get over here."
He just calls up Dr.
Warrior.
Watts. We might have to. We got problems.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get some Dr. Watts next volume, which would be great. So.
And then
Oh,
start
wait,
inviting Blake
join
over
us.
to. Okay, that's theorizing too much. Okay.
Yeah, join us in a couple of days when we do our
Volume
our
5
next-
predictions.
Yeah, our Volume 5 predictions podcast. That will be in 2 days from now, so it'll be I think it'll probably Wednesday probably.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there if you're listening to this. So
I'm the one who uploads these, so it's
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
determined by my sleep schedule.
Yep. So time for plugging.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm Ballzy247, and I have nothing to plug this week.
I'm Dudewuthteheck, and I want to plug Mediocrity because his stuff is good. It's better than Jake One Man Bands.
Anyway, I'm Mediocrity 4, and I
Don't
do
make me
RWBY
the
reviews too.
God damn it, you're making me look bad now. Well, I make myself look bad anyway, but you know what I mean.
Anyway, I do RWBY reviews too, and sometimes movie reviews when I get to the movie theater, which I will be. Next time I go to the movies, it will be to see John Wick 2. So I'll have a review out for that, and I also have plenty of other RWBY related videos coming out here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And I get no sleep because of them. So if you will, please like, comment, and subscribe because it helps keep me going and makes it all the more worthwhile. And I am also on fanfiction, but RWBY on Generations is on a bit of a hiatus right now while I hammer out these YouTube videos that I have planned. And yeah, the second arc will be picking up later this month probably.
Sure.
And it's the Huntsman games.
Sock.
No, leave me out of this.
Oh, I'll be doubling down on my fanfic. So it will be edited. What I have done will be edited within the next couple of weeks, and I will post it somewhere.
Bring on Operator Man.
Yes. The first 3 chapters are done, and they just all need to be. Well, the 4 chapters are done, and they just need to be edited. And my buddy Dan will help me out with that, and then we're done. All right, so are we good?
Oh, I know what I can plug. Sock internet. No, I'm kidding.
Plug your foot in a sock.
Just
That's where it belongs.
Remember,
Just
it's
put
the
your
amps
foot in
that
the
kill
outlet.
you.
We're getting delirious. It's time to end.
Yes.
We're
It's
over.
time to end this.
Yeah.
Good night.
time to
actually,
stop.
it's time to stop.
Join us next time.
Yeah, join us next time, and
We're
yeah.
gonna theorize and probably be just as annoying as we were this time.
Oh,
And incoherent.
without doubt, yeah.
And you can hear me talk more about Renora. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you all for watching, or hopefully listening to this, because I don't do visual edits on these. So, yeah. Maybe I should starting these podcasts off with like, oh, please just listen. Don't bother watching.
We need to get
It's
cams
just
to
a slideshow.
make them video podcasts.
Oh my
We need to
goodness,
make it a
I would
video
love that.
podcast eventually.
I'm getting a webcam sometime soon.
I already have one. I told High Powered if I had to, I'd buy him one. They're like $20. Let's
Yeah.
just make it a
Discord's
video
getting a new
podcast.
video feature soon.
That would help. So I don't see why we shouldn't do that. Oh, that's it. Really? Oh, that's good
Yeah.
timing then.
It'll
So-
be coming out later this year. Like, in
Yeah,
the first
join us in
quarter.
Volume 5 then for the video podcast.
Yeah,
Also-
I'm not gonna be able to wear just my underwear anymore. I'm just kidding. I definitely wear pants for these.
He just won't wear a shirt.
I'm wearing a bathrobe right now because I'm total biscuit apparently.
I'm wearing crazy pants. I'm wearing trackies right now, even though it's about 30
Anyway,
degrees outside.
Let's stop this. We're going.
yes.
Ooh, what are you wearing?
Oh my god, this is like
Tell
so
me
many of my
more.
chapters. I just don't know when to
Somebody-
stop.
Somebody
I don't
cut
know
the
when to
feed.
stop, and then I end up just like making jokes about Sun's
Just-
tail.
Just cut it now.